How's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. How you doing today? We literally just started up the stream, so we're going to give people a couple minutes to get in here, and then we'll go ahead and get going. I think I have, yeah, we don't have anything in the Grand Exchange right now. So I make sure that all of our stuff that would be in the Grand Exchange is cleared out. We got plenty of space. Some coalstone spirits, I'll take those. What's up, James? Yeah, let's make some bank, dude. Let's make some bank. I am going to be sharing all of the prices. I mean, you guys will be able to see it right on the stream too, but I'm going to be sharing all the prices that we get today, so that anyone that is with us is going to be able to flip with us. No gatekeeping here. Kernoise, how's it going, dude? Let's make some money. It's been a little bit since we did a stream, so I decided let's do a flipping stream and just flip together. Be fun. We've got about 10 people in here right now because we just started the stream up, so... And it's also, like I said, it's been a little bit since I've done a stream too, so it might take people a couple minutes as those notifications go out and people run in here. So we'll give them a few more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I don't want to have to, like, you know, repeat everything, and or if someone misses out on something. But how you guys doing? What's up? You guys been flipping and everything? What's up, Deep Fried? Deep Fryerft? I'm just gonna call you Deep. Only got 600 million to flip with. That's totally fine, my guy. That is plenty of money to flip with today. That's for sure. Today we're gonna be focused mostly on items that are beginner friendly, and then also like lower wealth friendly. And you know, first necro gear is very below market. Yeah, things have been all over the place lately. It's a weird time. I feel like it has a lot to do with the prices of the mage gear. Obviously, like, necro's still really good. It's definitely still the best, and that's why it still, you know, holds quite a bit of value. But there's a lot of, aside from Sanctum giving you extremely cheap high tier mage weapons, which makes people a little bit hesitant to spend money on other high tier gear. The other part is that we now know that Jagex is totally capable and fine with introducing gear that could be extremely cheap on release. So if they were to, you know, release new necro gear, for example, it might be extremely cheap and you know, not that hard to get. So a lot of uncertainty in the market when it comes to gear right now, which can be a good thing though if you're flipping. As far as long-term investing, it can be a maybe not. Kronois says if I can get to 5 billion before Christmas, I'm going to buy the highest tier Patreon. Awesome, my guy, awesome. Where are you at right now? And how's it going, guys? Welcome to the stream. We've just about doubled the viewers now, so we're gonna wait till we get I would say like close to 30 viewers, and then we'll go ahead and get going. We did very recently just start the stream up, so thanks for the patience. I just want to make sure that once we get going, then I can hopefully explain things a little bit less times. You're at 1 billion? Oh, nice, nice. Oh, yeah, you can definitely hit that before Christmas. You got the half the month of October, you got all of November, you got basically all of Christmas. You can definitely get there. Especially if you're very actively playing, you can definitely reach that number. And how's it going, everybody? How's it going for the people I have not said hello to? What's up? What's up? What you guys working on? Been making like 100 million since yesterday with the alchemical hydric dust. Nice, nice. A really good recommendation I can give to you when you're trying to make that goal, and then to anyone else who's trying to like get their flipping consistent, get like consistent money, is to find items that work really well for you. So just find some items that work really well for you, and then oh, it's my table. I was like, what's in my camera? Find items that work really well for you, and then stick to those items. And then what you want to do is just add new items or test new items as you go, but don't lose that consistency that you build up in the beginning. You know what I mean? All right, we're about 24 people, so we're gonna start very shortly. And how's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to make sure that we get a decent amount of people in here before we get started. That way, I don't have to explain, you know, how things work today too many times, because it does get a little exhausting for me, which I'm fine with it. I'm fine with explaining it. But also, I think the viewers, you know, sometimes get bored or annoyed if I explain things about 50 times. Yeah, I'm playing like 10 hours a day. Don't have a job. Hey, it's a good time. You know, while you're looking for your next job or whatever, then, or whatever your situation is. I mean, it's good use of time. You can learn a lot about economics and everything. I mean, a lot of the things you can learn in RuneScape can be directly applied to the real world too. I would say that RuneScape as a kid definitely like heavily influenced my decision making later on, and also kind of like opened up doors. You know, because you think a little bit differently when you learn that much about, you know, supply, demand, economics, flipping, investing. You know, you learn all that stuff as a kid. It's great. I want to know more about flipping. Can you explain to me more about it in DM and Discord? Yeah. If you want to, Dennis, just open up a help ticket in the Discord, and then yeah, we'd be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have. My suggestion would be to have some specific questions that you would like answered. That'd be a great way to start the conversation. In the Light says, at half your sub amount, I'm catching up. Nice, my guy, nice. You could definitely pass me. I mean, I'll be honest, as far as like the sub grind or whatever, I've definitely been slacking. I have by far not been hardcore sub grinding. I've had barely any time lately too, which is, you know, that's another reason why it's been a little bit since I've done a stream or even a post of a video. Is just because I've been working a lot. You know, we're actually traveling out of state and everything, and doing events. It's a lot of work right now. Hopefully, I get way more time soon. Randy, hey Manty, been a minute. What's going on, Randy? Yeah, dude. Kind of like I just mentioned, it's been too long. All right, we got 34 people here, and then also what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be getting started here very shortly. Let me just catch up on this. Read these last two. More coffee. Read these last few comments, then we'll get going, because I don't like to leave people hanging. But we do have enough people in here now to go ahead and get started. All right, I'm super new to this, but watched a few of your videos and excited about this. Awesome, man. I've been stuck at 20 million for a while. Okay, well, I can definitely help you get above 20 million. I mean, we can probably do that today if you want. But what I encourage you, and I encourage everyone in the stream, so everyone in the stream, very, very important here is, sorry, I'm like reading while saying this. Very, very important is just ask questions. There are no bad questions. There's no gatekeeping here. There's no ego. There's none of that stuff. None of that toxic crap. So, just ask questions, and I will do my best to answer your question. If I don't know the answer to your question, which that's kind of rare, but if I don't know the answer to your question, I'll just let you know I don't know the answer to the question, but I'm here to help you. Oh, your channel's music? Awesome, my guy, awesome. Cornelius says, what's your IRL job, if you don't mind answering, of course? I have quite a few different things I do. It's a little bit difficult to just explain it into one thing, but so you guys obviously know that there's the RuneScape thing, which is also directly related to me working with other tech companies and building online communities. Patreon, for example, there's actually a big reason why we use Patreon. It's not just because I like Patreon, even though I do like Patreon. I actually worked directly with them and built their entire online community and trained their staff in community management. So I actually work with Patreon. I'm not just a Patreon content creator. That's part of it. Also, too, I do online sales, I do online retail sales. I've been doing that since I was like 13 years old, so a very long time. And then we also go and do booths at events for trading card games. So Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon, stuff like that. We do booths. It's very fun. And there's a few other things too, but they're not quite as exciting as those things. Paulo says, hi Manty, what's the average swap right now? I love your content. I'll be honest, I have not been swapping for like the last week or so. So I would need to go in and find out what the average rates are right now. But if you want to swap, you can just open up a swap ticket and I'll get to you as soon as we can. Blue, what's going on? Hi, it has been a while. It's been too long. It's been too long. Frames, I want to do that video. There are a bunch of videos I really want to do. Please remind me in the Discord and I will try to get that video out. It is definitely going to be a good one, I think. I mean, you and I both know it's good content. What's up, Retro? Just beginning for me, my man. I did the Onyx bolts. It worked. Awesome, awesome. Those purple Santa hats finally rising. 435 Santas of the moon. There you go. There you go. A while back when people kept asking me about purple Santa hats, I told them that it was a good investment, but it's not one that's going to pan out anytime soon. And that was a long time ago. So now, as you can see, I got it. I got it correct. In the light, is it getting to be too late to invest in like purple Santas for the Christmas jumps? No, it's not too late. Most of the jumps usually happen like end of October, beginning of November, like whatever. Like right now is usually when that stuff starts to boom. So it's definitely not too late. I would say that you're probably going to miss out on some of the profit you could have made, but it's not. No, it's not too late. I would just be very. I will say that I'll be very, very careful about investing into Christmas items that Jagex has not confirmed are discontinued, because if you buy into things that they did not say are discontinued, then you have a potential of losing a lot more than you make. And just remember that Jagex always posts that like Christmas timeline and the upcoming stuff. They do that before the event actually starts. So don't wait until when you think the event is going to start to make that decision. You need to make that decision before they make that update. So, for example, green Santa hats, they've already confirmed that they're not discontinued. Black party hats, they've already confirmed those are not discontinued. So buying into things like that is a pretty high risk. The golden party hat is discontinued. Yes, that was confirmed. That's the reason why I bought 500 of them, and I'm still holding on to them, even though they have gone up. Actually, honestly, they're about what I paid. That I haven't like made money on those yet, but I wasn't too worried about it. I was just buying into them and just, you know, hold on to them. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. We got about 40 people in here. So today's stream, and you guys can continue just, you know, talking like this. It's totally fine. We're obviously going to have a conversation and chat during this. It's not just me talking and blabbing on, monologuing. So feel free to ask whatever questions you have or let us know about your progress, whatever. I mean, that's the whole reason why I like doing streams is, you know, interact with you guys, talk to you guys, and just kind of enjoy the game together. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing some live flipping together. So what this means basically is that I'm going to be doing price checks here on the camera and everything. Hey, thank you for the follow, man. We're going to be doing the price checks here. And then I am actually going to post those price checks in our Discord server. So if you are not in our Discord server, then please go to the description of the stream. My goodness, there's a lot of ways to find our Discord, but if you need help with it, we can help you out. But hopefully you're probably already in there. But go into our Discord server, and then you're going to go down to the RS flipping sections, the RS3 flipping sections. A really easy way to find that is just to go to on the left side, it says RuneScape 3 flipping chats. I am going to be posting everything that we price check in those flipping chats. So if you do miss anything on the stream, or maybe you can't read the numbers too well because you're on a phone or whatever, you can just go and easily find those numbers written out for you in those free flipping sections, which are going to come from me price checking right here on the stream. And today we're going to be aiming a little bit more towards like beginner friendly things, a little bit lower valued things. So this is something that everyone can do. There's definitely some good profit to be made. So just because we're doing things that are a little bit lower priced doesn't mean you can't make good money. You definitely can. I flip these things sometimes. It's really good money. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into it. And like I mentioned before, if you have any questions at all, then just feel free to ask, because that's, you know, that's kind of the point of the stream, right? All right, so we're also very quickly, so I have not been actively playing RuneScape, like training my account and stuff lately. I've just been doing like Discord and doing some flipping or whatever. But I did get my Master Max cape finally. Just wanted to let you guys know that. It was something I was working on for a while because I needed to get like strength and range basically. So yeah, Master Max is finally done. Super happy about that. Also, you guys are gonna laugh, but I've been sitting at 269k away from 200 million Slayer for like the last few months. It's kind of funny, right? I could probably lamp it there by this point. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to start out with some like some supplies and whatnot, which we're going to be putting into RS3 supply prices. If you guys have any like suggestions, requests, that kind of stuff, we can definitely do it. Just know that I'm not going to be price checking things like a Tavius's fishing. I'm not going to be doing like Saren Godbow and stuff. Those are not really like beginner friendly things. And also too, if I was to post those things on here and then 30 plus people jump on it, it's not going to work out too well in the first place. Any recommendations on investing for incoming DXP? Yeah, I can definitely give you some suggestions. Let me get some prices started here though, and then I will definitely give you some suggestions. Let's go ahead and start out with some of the archaeology things. Archaeology materials are super safe to do. They have a 5,000 buy limit, and you can usually find some pretty good margins on them, and then when you do, you're able to make a pretty solid amount of money. So some of them are good, some of them are not. So right now, Gold Rune, not good, which is totally fine because we're just going to keep on going through, and then we're going to find the ones that are good. So when you're doing these price checks on things like this, and you're like, oh man, I just tried out my first item and it wasn't good, that's not really like a situation where you want to stop trying. It just means that try different ones. So now, for example, we've got Ancient Viz right here, which is a much better margin than Gold Rune. It's not bad, actually. From 26.67 to 31.11, you're actually going to make some pretty good money because there's a 5,000 buy limit. So let's say that after the taxes and everything, I'm not going to do the exact math, but if we do the after taxes right here, let's say you're going to make 400 each. On a 5,000 buy limit, that's 2 million gold. That's actually not bad at all for something that is so low risk and is also pretty cheap to buy up. So that's a 2 million profit right there on Ancient Viz. The reason why I keep saying that they're really safe, by the way, is because these types of things have a 30-day average, and the 30-day average does not really swing too much unless there's like a big update or something. Double XP can sometimes affect things like this, but in general, they stay around the same ranges. So if it ever that you, let's say you buy these Ancient Viz and you pay this number right here, and then you're like, oh my goodness, the new instant buy is 2.7k, am I going to lose money? No, you're really not going to lose money. You just need to just put it for a higher number and then just be patient, and it will sell off. It may not sell for exactly this high number if it, you know, dips a little bit, but it's certainly not going to go like way below the lower number because that's just how those types of items work. So you buy just above the sold price? Yes. So what I would do is I would instant buy here, and I'm going to instant sell here. And then this number right here, 2667, what I would probably do is just add 1 GP to that. So I'd be at 2668, and that would be my buy offer for Ancient Viz. Now, if you are someone that is like a newer flipper, or you just want to like reduce your risk or whatever, then just don't buy 5,000 at once, buy 1,000 at once. That's totally fine. You can buy 1,000 and then you can just resell them right after that. Totally fine to do. All right, let's do a few more too. So I think White Oak is a good one. Oops, that's the wrong one. Where's our White Oak? And don't worry, we are going to do some other items too. I just wanted to like give some items that everyone is able to do and are very good like safe starter items to like start us off here. We will move into some things that are a little bit bigger and stuff like that, but you know, let's just go through this too. Also a good learning opportunity for these types of things. So anyway, White Oak right here, not a good margin. I wouldn't bother flipping these. If you were going to flip White Oak and Gold Rune, so it is actually possible to flip both of these items for a profit, even though our instant buy and instant sell did not come back at a great number. What you would need to do is you need to figure out whether or not you're able to buy or sell this White Oak at numbers that are better than these numbers. So what I would do is put a buy offer for, let's say, 2.8k on White Oak, and then if I instant buy another one, and I put that one I just instant buy for, let's say, 3,099 or 31.99, you can just see if they sell. And if those actually do buy and sell at those prices, then you know that, hey, there actually is a good margin. I just wasn't able to find it from an instant buy, instant sell, because those are not always the most reliable thing. That's another big reason why we don't do instant buy, instant sells all the time on really big items like Saren Godbow or Fractured Staff of Armadil, is because the next trade for those items is most likely not going to be the same as my instant buy, instant sell due to the low volume of the item. Low volume meaning there's not that many of them, so that means that the prices that they can be bought and sold at will vary, if that makes sense. Buy what you can afford and build your stack to buy 5,000 of them. Yeah, exactly. If you're someone that's like, oh, I can't afford. Now, most people can probably afford these at 5,000, but if it's something more expensive, you can't afford 5,000, then just start it with 1,000 and then just work your way up. All right, let's do another one. Double XP soon. There should be another double XP coming up fairly soon. Yes. All right. Tyrian purple. I have to look at the exact date on the wiki. If you go to the wiki and type in double XP, then you can get a very accurate idea of when the next one should be. All right, boom. All right, so Tyrian purple. This is actually much better margin. So we have it's like a 750 margin on this item, which really isn't that bad at all, actually. So at 5,000 of these, that's over 3 million you're going to be making from flipping a set of these. So Tyrian purple is actually pretty good. So then we have Armadillion yellow. These colors are usually pretty good because the colors are always in high demand. So what I generally do when I'm trying to like find out if I want to flip any of these types of pieces is I will generally start with the colors first. And that's, you know, it's just, well, actually it's for the reason I just said. It's because there is always a high demand for these two, which is another reason why they're oftentimes, you know, pretty high priced, like paying 16K for this component. All right, so our Armadillion yellow, not a terrible margin, not the best. Only 800 margin on an item that's over 16K is not the best, but you can once again try to stretch those numbers out too. And then we've got Cobalt Blue. Cobalt Blue is not bad at all, a 623 a piece. That's not that bad, actually. You got to remember, you got a 5,000 limit and they're extremely safe, so it's really not terrible. Just because we're not making 10K each doesn't mean that there's not a good amount of margin, a good amount of profit that can be made there. I'm going to go ahead and post some of these into the chat that I was mentioning, so just in case, we have about 50 people in here now, and when I mentioned this the first time, we had like 30. So as we're flipping today, I'm going to be taking our prices, literal screenshot, and posting them into our Discord server and putting them into the RS3 flipping chats, the RuneScape 3 flipping chats. So you guys can feel free to go ahead and just use them from that section. And then that way you don't have to worry about, oh, he found a price, I need to write it down really quick or whatever. You don't have to worry about it. It's all posted right here for you. And those sections are open for everyone to use. What's going on, Sali? If I'm, for example, constantly flipping Saren God bows and selling they don't sell, even lowering my sell offer price, when should I panic? Well, you don't want to ever panic. So items like that can definitely drop. And what you need to do is you just need to just be patient and slowly reduce your price according to the update amount that should be used. So the update time, the update amount. If it's just never moving and you've updated it 4, 5, 6 times, then at that point, another idea is just to go ahead and try to buy a new one. Or if you can't buy a new one or don't want to do that, then you can just update it a little bit more aggressively. Usually in our Discord server, whenever there's something that is dropping quickly, we will just instant buy a new one, and then that way that people are able to get a pretty accurate number. That's the easiest way to do it, is just instant buy a new one. But I understand if you're solo flipping and you don't want to lose extra money, that's not something you're probably going to do. So something else we usually do too is if it's been like 4, 5, 6 updates, then we'll just be updating a lot more aggressively. And then we'll probably avoid that item if it's gone down that much. Okay, let's go ahead and do some more. So we got Malachite Green. And how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We got about 50 people in here. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask. But right now, what we're doing is I'm doing price checks for some beginner-friendly and lower-price items and also lower risk. So that way that anyone who wants to learn how to flip or do a little bit of flipping with us can join in. Not everything we're finding is good, and that's not the point. It's not the point to like that every single thing that we type in is going to be amazing. What we're doing is we're finding things that are good, and then that's what we're going to focus on. So the things that we find that are not very good, I'm not posting them into the supply prices in the Discord server. Like for example, I'm not posting Gold Rune. This isn't going to help anybody. But the other things that we are going to be posting. So Malachite Green, not the greatest margin on Malachite Green. It's actually got a little bit less than 500 margin, which is not super good, but you can still make money on this, and I'd recommend just stretching that buy or sell. At 13,059, I would definitely stretch the buy, and at 13,511, I would definitely stretch the sell both. The reason why I would do that is because if you look right here at Cobalt Blue, you see on Cobalt Blue, it says 13,701. So if I am going to post an offer to buy something, let's say I want to buy it at 13.7K, right? I'm probably going to use a number that's exactly like this one. I want to be like 13,701. Like that is like what a buy number looks like, right? 13,059 is not exactly what a buy number looks like. If I want to buy something for 13.06, right? I'm not going to type that in and then go down a number. That doesn't make any sense. So when I see numbers like this that don't make that much sense, it lets me know that the person that is sitting here and they are buying these, I first of all don't even know how they got to this number, I'll be honest with you. They probably use like the 5% thing or whatever. I really don't know how they got to this number. It's a really random number. But this is not a flipper that is sitting here with a walled up price. So since I know this is not a walled up price from a flipper or an investor or whatever, then I know this number is probably going to break at some point and go lower. Does that make sense? So that's how I know that this is a great number to stretch. Same here. This was our instant buy, which means that somebody was selling this. So at 13,511, if I'm going to sell my item, and let's say I want to put it for 13.5K, I'm probably going to do 13,499, right? That makes the most sense. So this number right here, once again, does not really make sense for a flipper to put a number in like this, which means that once again, I do not believe there's a walled up sell price here. So both of these numbers can be stretched. I hope that makes sense. If I confused anyone, then please just ask. I have a ton of greater concentrated blast. They went to less than half price they are. They were. Should I just dump them? It's been a while now. So I'm guessing that when the time they went up was when Sanctum was still out, really popular. I mean, obviously it's out now, but like when it was new, the mage gear was new. People were excited to go use the mage gear at Sanctum and whatever. So that would make sense why it would be going down now. So basically, you probably are going to want to just go ahead and get rid of them. I really don't see that they're going to go back up now at this point. There was also concentrated blast was like changed too. They were changing it so that you could use it with the staff and whatnot, or whatever they were doing with it. I'm not like a heavy mage user, so I know that concentrated blast is something they were proposing changing, or they did change. Aaron says thanks. Randy, think of it as you are at a giant yard sale looking for the best price of items to resale. It's a hunt. Yes, exactly. Soul, what's up, dude? Hey, yo, I didn't know you were live on Twitch. Yep, I finally got some free time, my guy. Real life work and life has made it very, very difficult to make out, to put out new streams and videos, but we're here. Okay, guys, we've done a few of the items for archaeology. I did post the ones that were good into the RS3 supply prices, and we're going to move on to some things that are a little bit higher priced. That way, for the people that are slightly less beginner friendly, but are looking for some cool items to make some money on, let's do it. All right, so Elder Rune did change it to be used on both Mage 2H and Dual Wield. Yes, okay. Like I mentioned, I saw that they were wanting to do that, and I thought they did it, but I didn't want to say something that I wasn't 100% sure on, because I have not used Concentrated Blast or Mage since that update, so I didn't want to say something that I didn't know for sure. Okay, so Elder Rune 2H plus 5. This is a great item to do. The Elder Rune stuff in general is good to do. All of them, actually. So the reason why is because these are pretty low volume overall. There are a lot of people that make the plus 5 that will use the plus 4. Then we'll also use the plus 5 too for burials. But the low volume of these and the high price of them, and also the low buy limit, makes it so there's usually a pretty good margin on these items. What I can say though is that the plus 5 and the plus 4 are much easier to buy and sell than the plus 1, 2, and 3. And I probably don't need to explain this too deep, because I'm sure you've all done smithing and you know the reason why. But people don't usually stop at plus 2, or they don't usually go buy plus 2. They usually go buy maybe plus 3, but usually plus 4, turn it into plus 5 or whatever. So these are the most commonly traded ones. Elder Rune 2H, the basic ones, are like decently well traded. But anyway, long story short, this is going to be true for pretty much all of these smithable items. So all the Elder Rune stuff is the exact same situation here. where it's like +4s, +5s, the most common ones that are going to be in the Grand Exchange and flipped. But the thing is, though, is items like the Elder Rune 3, even though it's not traded as often, this is one that can have some really wacky prices. Here, let me do one, and we'll just see where it's at. And don't worry, guys, I am going to answer your questions. All right, there we go. There we go. There's a great example of what I'm talking about. It's not even buying for 3.5 million. I can probably go well above this, and it probably still won't buy. So when this type of thing happens here, if you own some Elder Rune 2H plus 3s, and you have them for a pretty high price, like let's say you try selling them for like 1.5 million, which is 500,000 roughly above the mid price, you're going to make some really good money when they sell, but obviously they're going to sell slower. So they can have very, very good margins and can be good items, but they're best left for like overnight because they are going to be painfully slow. I have done things that are like +1s, +2s, +3s, especially for other things too, not just Elder Rune. And I've made some really good money that required me to pay literally no attention and just log into just a new pile of cash. It's really good, trust me, but just understand they're not going to be something you're going to sit here and watch and flip because they are going to be painfully slow. The same situation for buying things like this as it was for selling things like this is there's not always buyers for these items, which means you can buy them for very, very low because people will go there and just give up and instantly sell a whole stack of them. And then when they do, boom, you just got them for 200, 300K and now you're selling them for 2 million. Yeah, you can see where the money's at. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and price check the +5 and +4 so you guys have something to work with, and I'll go ahead and answer some questions in the chat. Alright, so like I mentioned, +4s and +5s are going to be the most common ones. That's the one we're going to be able to reliably do in the chat here. 5.1 million! Holy cow! That is so high. Oh goodness, I am definitely about to lose some money on this one, but it's going to be a really great margin. Yep, there we go. Alright, so this is a prime example of the reason why I was going to say to do these items. So I'll show you guys that history in a second. Let me go ahead and do the +4. It doesn't even buy for that. Wow, okay, the +4 is wild today too. Just for the giggles, I'm going to go a little bit higher. If it doesn't buy for this, yeah, okay, it's not reliable. Alright, so just none of these in the market right now. Let's do the base Elder Rune. This is actually really entertaining. Let's do the base Elder Rune and see what those are going at. That way we have like at least 2 numbers to work with. Then you guys can flip those. Wow, that bought for so cheap. And then we sell. Doesn't sell! Oh my goodness, you guys could go... Oh, here, run to the Grand Exchange. Or if you're at the Grand Exchange right now, go ahead. Put an offer for 10K. Here, I'm going to leave this here. Put an offer for your 6K or whatever, and you can have this sword and go make some profit with it. We'll see when it sells. But there we go. So Elder Rune 2H plus 5 has a monstrous margin. 2.98 million to 5.1 million. So this right here, and yeah, Randy, I'll do +3 in a second too. Actually, wait, didn't we do +3? Oh, there you go. Someone claimed it. There you go. Congrats on that. What's like 160K or whatever. Oh, sorry, it's 130K. Well, minus the 5, so 123. Oh, for plates, yeah. Well, I'm gonna do a bunch of these items too, not just the sword. The other items are actually a little bit more consistent too. The swords are slightly more rare, but I wanted to show a sword because you can see the margin is crazy like this. So 5.1 million to the buy price of just basically 3 million. So you're looking at 2.1 million as a margin, minus the tax obviously. But that is monstrous, especially if you're able to get a 100 buy. That is a crazy amount of money you're going to make. You're going to make like 200 million on flipping a stack of these. Before you go all gung-ho on flipping these though, by the way, let me just mention that this price, this top end price can change. It can definitely change. Now this bottom end price, it's at 29.80, which is just barely above this. That number is probably going to stay pretty consistent. That number right there is not too likely to suddenly dive down or whatever. If anything, it might rise. These might go above 3 million. But that sell price of 5.1, that number can definitely come down. So don't buy a bunch of these and then be like, oh, I'm going to get 5.1 million for all of them. You might get that number for all of them. But most likely what's going to happen is you're going to end up selling some for 4.9, 4.8, 4.7, you know, or whatever, or 4.5. But even if that happens, I mean, even if they went down to 3.5, you're still making a bunch of money on these. So anyway, this is a really great item. I'm gonna go ahead and post this into the, I'm gonna post both these into the RS3 gear prices. So those are really good. Those are actually really good. They are very slow. Even these +5s, like because I mentioned how the other ones are slow. These +5s and +4s, whatever, they're still very slow. So just be very patient. But they're super consistent money. I actually made a video a long time ago that was basically about flipping these for an entire month straight, and making over $1 billion profit from just flipping Elderune. You guys can feel free to follow that or find that out on the channel. Just search for like 1,000 million or whatever, and it'll pop up. It has the picture of the Elderune stuff on the front of it. Let's see. Am on Discord, you guys. Discord, and been trying to understand how to flip and still lost. I get the basics, but when it comes to items and which ones to flip, I lost there. So, well, what you can do is you can literally just do what I was showing a minute ago. So I don't recommend starting out with these Elderunes as your very first item or trying to learn how to flip. They are still pretty beginner friendly, but they are very slow. Not really the best thing to sit here and watch and try to learn how to flip. Go try to buy some Tyrian purple. So this is also posted in the RS3 supply prices for sure. But the Tyrian purple, you can go buy it right now for this buy price. Just add like 1 gold or whatever, and then you can sell it for this buy price, this sell price, sorry, and then you can just minus 1 gold. And then quite literally just go buy 1,000 of them and then flip them for the profit. And that's it. That's really all you're doing for flipping, guys. You're literally just going to be doing it for cheap items like this. Anyway, not all items, but cheap items like this. You will instant buy, and then you will instant sell one to find out the margin. And then you're just going to go -1 + 1 GP in order to find your buy price and your sell price. But obviously buy at the lower one, sell at the higher one. And that's really it. That is the basics to learning how to flip. There is a lot more to it, which is the reason why we have a 13,000 member Discord server in order to help you to learn more and to get really deep into it. There's a heck of a lot more to it that's going to like separate you from being a beginner or a pro. But that's the beginning though. That's the basics. That's the beginning. If you need any help, by the way, Soulfire, then just open up a help ticket in the Discord server. Anyone can open up a help ticket. You do not have to be a member of our Patreon or whatever. You can just go freely use that. And the RS3 flipping sections I'm mentioning that I'm posting these in, these are open free flipping sections that anyone can use. Okay, let me just catch up over here. Okay, so how much EP would you say you would need to start flipping? I would recommend having at least 10 million, but ideally I would say do it when you've got like 100 million plus. Now that number did not used to be that high. I used to say, like, you know, when you got 10 or you got 30 or you got 50, then just go ahead and start flipping, you know, it's gonna be good. But nowadays, making 100 million by just doing some PVM or whatever is really fast, like really fast. Like here, I will price check these while I'm talking about them, and then we'll do some more Elderune. But Frost Dragon Bones, if I instant buy this, 25.5k per Frost Dragon Bone. And then I go ahead and sell this. So Frost Dragon Bones actually have a pretty good margin right now. It's a it's like a 1.248 is what we're making on those. So that's actually really good. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm really glad that I decided to talk about this because it's actually a pretty good margin. So go flip some Frost Dragon Bones. But Frost Dragons, for example, are a really great monster that you can literally go kill these right now and get 400 to 500 bones per hour without too much effort. You do need to have some unlocks to do it, yes, but they're not end game unlocks. They're like mid game unlocks. So if you don't have the unlocks to do Frost Dragons efficiently, then you're probably also not at the point where you need to be worried about having billions of gold to begin with. But these are something you can literally just go kill some Frost Dragons, super stupid easy, and make yourself 100 million in your first day. So that's the reason why I do recommend that you do have, you know, 100 million plus before you try to like exclusively do flipping. Unless you just really hate combat or something, then okay, sure, I get that. That makes sense. I also really don't enjoy combat that much, so like I can vibe with that. But anyway, that's why I suggest, like, you know, just start with like 50 to 100 million or plus, like, and you're going to make a lot more money that way too. And it's going to be faster doing PVM under 100 million for sure. Once you get to large amounts of wealth though, PVM cannot compare to flipping unless, it's even hard to say that too. A lot of people will do PVM with flipping, because they're both really good. I'm not saying PVM is bad, but one does definitely outshine the other one, and that is flipping. You can make like 8 billion, 10 billion in one day on a boss release just by flipping. Now, sure, you can make that money doing PVM, but it's going to be luck-based. And it's also going to be a heck of a lot more sweaty than flipping is. Okay, let me just go ahead and catch up a couple things here, and then we'll go ahead and do some of that Elder Rune +5 also. What profits per month can you get with a 2 billion starting point doing flipping? I know you made a live about this before. What's the range like? So it's gonna heavily depend on a lot of factors. I'm not gonna list all the factors, but it's gonna heavily depend on a lot of factors like your playtime, your accounts, your previous experience, your current experience, whether or not you're flipping with a group or you're flipping alone. There's a lot of things that come into consideration. But what I can say from our Patreon sections, like the Billionaire Flip Club or the Master Pass, which is usually where people end up if they have 2 billion, people going from 2 bill to 4 to 5 bill in 1 month is very common. It's definitely not something uncommon. And then going from like 2 billion to 3 billion is like very, very doable. That even someone who is learning how to flip can do that number. So yeah, it's a lot of factors in it, but doubling your money when you have 2 billion is very common. I've been flipping off the GE for about 2 years, but I don't know how to break in the GE market as I have about 54 items for sale. Any tricks? What do you mean by break into the GE market? Can you explain that a little bit more? Also, if I give you a case of beer, can you flip it? Yeah, I can. I actually flip in real life. Someone was asking me what my like IRL job is, because of a really busy thing. I do a few different things. I don't just have like, I don't go clock in somewhere. I run businesses, so I do a few different things. And one of my businesses is actually, the most fun part of that business actually, is to go to trading card show booths and literally buy, sell, trade, flip things. So it's great. Okay, just to be clear, you buy the item, then sell it 1 GP, buy it for the price sold for, then sell the price bought. Okay, I think the way that you wrote that out was a little bit confusing to read. But yeah, what you're going to be doing is, let's say for these Frost Dragon Bones, after I've instant bought one and instant sold one, I'm going to be buying it for 24,251. I don't want to do 24,250 because that's what someone else is offering, and I don't want to be way above that because it's pointless. There's nobody at 24,251, so there's no reason for me to do like 24.3. Like, there's no reason to jump that high. Just do 1 GP above. That's all it takes. All right. And then, as far as your sell, you're going to take the higher number and then minus 1 GP, because once again, you don't want to be matching the other person, but you also don't want to be dramatically below the other person, because that makes no sense, and you're literally just losing money doing that. World? What world am I in? I actually don't even know what world I'm in. Let me look. I'm in world 4. I figured it's probably either 4 or 14. That's usually what it ends up logging me into. Okay, wait, sorry. How necessary is it to be multi-logging using alt, etc. with buy limits and all that? It heavily depends on your goals. So if your goal is to make 1 billion or 5 billion, then you can definitely just use one account and you can accomplish that number. Definitely you can just do that. Not necessary to have 20 alts or anything like that. Now let's say your goal is to have 50 billion or 100 billion or a trillion. Then you're going to have to do different strategies and different tactics to achieve each one of those goals depending on the goal, just like in the real world. If my goal in the real world is to make, to have $100,000 in my bank account, I can go do that with a 9 to 5. If I have a goal to do $100 million in my bank account, I am not getting that with a 9 to 5. Unless you've got some crazy, ridiculous 0.00001% situation of owning a company that you worked your way up doing 9 to 5s. but like, anyway, different strategies for different results. So what you need to do and what strategies you need to implement is going to depend on your goal. There are 29 beers in a case. I want to see you flip it. Oh, you mean like a beer in the game? You want me to flip a beer in the game? Oh, this guy, you ain't rich like me. Oh, that's funny. I like his hat. He's a man of class. Okay, so I'm in the so in the items that you flipping, what quantity would you buy it? Like the buy limit, or just 1, 2, 3, 5K? So that depends on, are you able to afford the entire buy limit? If you're able to afford the entire buy limit, there's no reason not to do just the entire buy limit. Are you worried about the item price changing? If you are, then don't buy the full buy limit, do partial. It's just those questions you ask yourself and those decisions right there. Where's your die game at? Okay, so let me briefly explain my die game, and I'll explain to you why I don't have any more die items. I have an alt that has some died items, and I didn't do it on my main, and the reason why I didn't do it on my main is because I'm someone who likes to collect everything. So, oh my goodness. Oh, you're the best! Oh my gosh, you're the best! You're literally a legend. The reason why is I don't have the achievement for drinking one of each beer. You are literally the best. Dude. This is amazing. Yeah, I needed those for the achievement of like drinking one of every beer. Oh, heck yeah. Okay. But to answer the die thing, I'm someone who likes to collect one of everything in the game. So if I like to collect one of everything in the game, there is not enough keepsake keys, and I do not have enough bank space to actually collect one of every died thing in the game. There was a one second, I'll trade you for Suvian. There was a point where I was buying a bunch of dies, and anyone who was in the Master Pass during this time knew this from that. Oh, you got some hats. You got some weens. Did you ride the rise on those? Because they definitely had like a really good rise on those. So the I bought up a ton of. Oh, this because of you? Hey, awesome, dude. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Hell yeah. I mean, it's because of you, though. I mean, all I can do is put out some knowledge and try to help, whatever, you know. But it, you made it happen, so it's because of you. But so I bought a ton of dies around Christmas time because they were, Aurora die went down to like 115 million or whatever. Ice die was way down. All the dies were way down. So I bought a ton of dies, and I was actually planning on selling some of them to pay for all the ones I was going to use, basically, which means I would have gotten free dies. That was the plan. That's when I realized that I would not actually be able to store or use all of the died items. And so basically, I just did it so I was like, okay, my OCD, perfectionist, whatever, RuneScape feeling of having to collect everything, I wouldn't be able to do it, and it would just bother the shit out of me, so I just decided not to do it. I'll probably end up doing it again sometime. I'll probably end up getting into dies again sometimes, but that's the reason why I didn't do it. I know, it's probably a weird, dumb reason, but I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and do some more Elder Rune stuff, like I was mentioning too. Alright, we'll do some Elder Rune Plate Body. So Elder Rune Plate Body +5. Because we had some really good margins on those, on the swords a minute ago. Managed to use your alts to help with limits? I do. I have a collection tab. And my alts, my alts are doing overnight flipping and whatnot, but I also use my alts to do, to buy stuff for my collection. Here, I'll show you, like, some of the, just briefly, then we'll go back and find out that price I just found. I know I'm leaving people hanging. Like, I have 1 billion vials, and there's 20 million power bursts, there's 10 million polys, 10 million bic, 10 million coal, and a bunch of all this other stuff. Like, that, I use the buy limits on my alts to work on collection stuff. For any of them that are not flipping, for example. So there we go. We just did the Elder Rune Plate Body +5. Let me do the Elder Rune Plate Body +4 also. Alright, we'll sell this. Okay, not terrible. Okay, so the margins on these are not huge like we saw on the sword, but they're definitely still good. Yeah. Wait. You show them to the drunken dwarf? I thought you had to drink them. I'll have to look at that again. I was going to do that one, but I just didn't do it yet because I'm like, oh my god, I have to go buy all these drinks. Okay, so you show them to him. Okay, then I'll make sure not to drink them. Thank you. I'll go do that while we're on the stream. I honestly really appreciate it. It's achievements like that that I'm like, ah. Okay, so Elder Plate Body plus 5, not bad. Remember there's a 100 buy limit on these. So since there's a 100 buy limit on these, the fact that we're able to get 233 million... No, sorry, 233,000. Wow, I'm like, wow. Yeah, million. 233,000 per flip on those Elder Rune plate bodies, minus tax, obviously. That's a really, really good margin on these.
Hello, Manty.
How's it going, Wifey T Gaming?
I have a problem.
Yeah?
Can they hear me?
Yes?
That's fine. I bought the new pet token.
Which pet?
The scary green one.
Oh, the Osseous pet, yeah.
I don't know what to do. It's not selling.
Well, just, I posted the price for it.
I know, I bought it for way under.
You bought it for way under what I posted to buy?
Yeah, I already posted an update.
Okay. Okay, well, I did say stretch on that, so.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
What do I sell it for? Can you check?
Yeah, let me see what you bought it for. My wife is flipping the Osseous token, and now she's panicking because she got it. She got it buy. This is definitely a panic. You're coming in here right now, being like, I'm worried.
No, you didn't answer me, and then also I bought it for like
oh, you didn't buy it that much lower. It's 50 million.
Yeah.
The item is over $1 billion. The instant sell earlier was literally like under 1.2 billion. So
I went off for your pin.
yeah, no, that's good. That's the reason why I say stretch. Good job.
Wait, I have it in for like 50 million more, 50 million less than your pin.
Well, so you're cutting my pins.
Well, I'm just trying to see if.
So you're admitting to rule breaking.
I unpinned it.
You pinned it. That's an abuse of power.
Anyone can.
Yeah. See, there's people laughing in here. Philip knows that she's abusing power. You see that? You see that? No, what she's trying to do is she's trying to update it to get the most accurate pricing because Osseous token has been all over the place and we don't want people to lose money because it's such a new item and it's been like really volatile. So it's more of a prevent anyone from losing money rather than like cutting a pin.
It's selling for what it's at right now.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just push to try to get an update, and if you find a new range, we'll just use that range. We just want the most accurate prices for them to use, so. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, okay, when you said you bought it way under, I thought you bought it for like 1.1 billion or something.
Tempting. It was tempting to do that, but I was like, oh, let me just get a flip in.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. The margins on them all day have been like 150 million or whatever.
The reason I'm worried is because someone said they bought it for 661 million.
There has not been one today for 661 million.
Someone just posted that on Master that they got theirs for that and then they sold it for 1.1 and they were quite happy with it.
Yeah, they just undersold it. That's all. The price has been all over the place. It's a pretty rare item. That's why it's so expensive. So I would just be patient and.
How do they come into the game? I was too lazy.
They come into the game from the new maze. It's a rare drop from the maze. I think that one's from the maze. Is that one from the maze, guys? The Osseous pet token? Well, I'm giving you guys a pretty accurate range of what the price is, but we did post that in the master prices, and I don't want to screw the people that have offers in. So it's not so much that I don't want to share it with you. If it wasn't posted and I knew that people weren't actively having offers in, then I would just tell you what the price is.
Well, the issues right now, it doesn't even work right now because it just shifted.
And they said yes, it's from the maze.
It is.
Yeah.
The maze is hard to do.
No, I don't. The maze is not hard to do. It's just rare.
Is there a limit to the maze?
I don't know. You're asking questions. I haven't even done the Halloween event yet.
You're a YouTuber. Get to work.
Yeah, I might be. No, I just work here. I'm the janitor, actually. I walked into this room and there was a camera and a microphone, and I'm pretending I know things.
Alright, I love you, honey.
I love you. Okay, so yeah, but yeah. I don't want to screw the people over that are actively having offers in by telling 60 people the new price. But I did just give you a pretty good range to it. I think that you can do some deducing and maybe get pretty close. Let's see. So the items that's shown it's most used at the time is items you could flip, or is everyone flipping those? Are you talking about for the Patreon tiers? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the things that I'm showing right here in the stream? I'm gonna go ahead and post these too, by the way. These are gonna be posted into the RS3 gear prices. And then we've also got Frost Dragon Bones. Also, a little bit off topic. Don't worry, I'm not going to go into a rant about it, but who here has played Throne and Liberty? I have. It's really good. I really enjoy it. I thought the beginning of the game was like a little bit slow and a little bit, I don't know if I'm going to like it. But once you get past level 20 and you really start to play it, it's a really good game, actually. It's got its issues like any game, but I'm really enjoying it. No, there's a Discord server about items and prices. Yeah. I mean, our Discord server is the only flipping server that is currently up and going. Okay, sorry. Ours is the largest flipping server that is currently up and going. The only other large servers are price checking servers, and that's it. So ours is about using, it's about group flipping. So we're working together to find the most accurate prices and make the most money. The idea in our server is not to like compete in a negative way of like, you know, not sharing or screwing people over in prices. Like, we don't do any kind of manipulation, no pumping and dumping, no buyouts, none of that kind of crap. We just try to help everyone in the groups to make money. Oh, I did to level 30? Nice. Honestly, like, if you like the game a little bit, I would definitely encourage you to go a little bit further than 30. It's a really good game. And it just gets much better as you go. Let's do some more Elder Rune stuff, because we've actually been finding pretty good margins on these. So, the main reason why people buy these +5s, by the way, is because you do the burials to get really fast XP for your smithing level. It's actually really fast. If you use the Elder Rune sets, it's like over 5 million XP per hour on double XP. It's like super fast. It was one of the fastest 200 million skills I did. It took like barely any time. But I also did it when it was a bit cheaper, because they had not updated the components for the items. So the Elder Rune stuff was much less. The Elder Rune stuff went up a lot more after they updated the components that it drops, like from disassembling it. So when I did it, it only cost me like 12 GP per XP, and I think now it's like over 20. So it's really fast, it's really good, but it is very expensive. 1680 to 2020, not bad. Oh, yeah, Philip says he just won 20. It was bonkers. Yeah, it was really fun. Well, I don't know, it was grindy, but it was entertaining, I guess, to see how fast the XP went, that's for sure. And awesome, dude, thank you for the post of the Super Ceradamon Brews. That's a really, really good margin, by the way, on the Elder Rune +5. Remember that there is a 100 buy limit. This margin right here is very solid for a 100 buy limit. Like, if you were making 10 million, sorry, if you were making 100k on one of these flips, which the only one that's been that low is the Elder Rune Plate Body +4, which you can totally stretch these prices if you want to. Although these do look like buy and sell prices, if you guys were paying attention when I was talking about earlier. These do look like buy and sell prices, actually. As it always says, oh man, you just sold to me, no one is doing the helms. Nice. Well, hey, there you go. That means that, yeah, that kind of explains it. That's what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about there's not very many offers and whatever. We just found the person doing the helms. But if there is a 100k buy profit margin, and there is a 100 buy limit, then you're looking at a 10 million profit. Like, it's really good. So these are great items to flip. This is not something to sleep on, even if you're an experienced flipper. An experienced flipper. I always, the word flipper just doesn't sound good. Experienced merchant. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. I appreciate you sharing all these prices, but curious with how large the community is. Aren't the prices pretty in flux once you share? Like, are you saying there's a lot of competition with them, or like that they don't work? So they do work, and there is competition because everyone's trying to get buys, but we have very strict rules as to how much you can offer over a price. Like, for example, if we are flipping a Nox Scythe, for example. Nox Oh, noxious. I'm over here just like sleeping on this. So let's say that it did buy for this price. And then we posted the buy price as being this price right here. The rules of our Discord is you cannot add more than 2,000 over the price that we posted. So we encourage everyone to basically be at 2K over the price we post. And that way everyone is on the exact same price, and then everyone can just sit there and wait for the Nox Scythe to buy, and then everyone will get a buy. If we start getting no buys, then we increase it as a group. So that is why we have the spreadsheets, which you guys can actually, as a non-member, can go and use the spreadsheet and see what they look like. If you look in the RS3 flipping chat and you look at the pin messages, I also just talked about this in the general chat too. If you look there and you look at the spreadsheet, you get a pretty example of how the spreadsheets work, where we have an update time and then an update amount. If you're looking for the Discord server, you can just look in the description of either the stream or YouTube or Discord, and then you can find the link there. I don't think that our bot is making it pop up, which I need to fix that. So I don't know why it stopped doing that, but anyway. So due to the way those rules work, and due to the way that everyone is posting what they're buying and what they're selling, some people look at that as, oh man, if I post how much I bought this for, then everyone else is going to go buy it and I'm not going to be able to buy. It's actually not the case in our server. I can't speak for everyone's groups or whatever, but the way that our server works is if I'm paying 300 million flat for a Nox Scythe and I post that I'm paying 300 million flat, then it's a really good thing for me to do that, because that means there's not going to be people that were paying 305 or 303 or 301, you know, because if no one knows what anyone's paying, then the numbers are going to be all over the place. And some people are definitely going to be blocked, like from buying. But if we post 300, then everyone can match 300, and now we're all in the same playing field. We're all in the line to get the buys. I hope that makes the most sense. And so we try our best to be able to like coordinate and work that way. And then also too, something else. It's not always about, you know, how much can we pay and how fast can we sell it. People, especially myself in the Discord group, what we're doing is we're trying to make it so, how much can we make? So can we buy this for less? There's plenty of people that if Nox Scythe is posted 300 million, we'll be trying to buy it for 295, 290, whatever, because we're trying to find a bigger margin and help people make more money. And then also it's just kind of fun. It's like, oh hey, yeah, awesome, dude, you just found a bigger margin, like badass. So it's the opposite of the toxic mentality that some groups can have, and that's what we try to avoid. How do you know they respect it? So we actually have a lot of systems of checks in there. I, for example, will oftentimes be flipping on 8 accounts, and if I have buys and sells and people have posted one that's not possible, then that's a pretty big red flag. And then I can look into that person and find out, you know, if I've seen them do that once or twice or 3 times or whatever, yeah, it becomes pretty obvious. That is one of the ways, but there are a few different ways. I don't want to mention all of them because then it's just a really easy way for people to try to circumvent things if they are aware of how they work. I know there was once someone gave me an Aurora hat and they said I could sell it for the price value, and I went to Discord and tried to sell it for the value, and I got roasted and told that price deflated drastically and I am a ripoff. Almost got kicked out. I just want to make sure I don't mess up. So, that's not going to happen in our server unless you are knowingly posting something for some ridiculous price. Now, for example, on Aurora hat, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find out, like, you know, that's not an item that's posted very many places very often. So people are probably not going to jump on you for that. Now, if you were to post a green party hat, for example, and you were asking people to give it to, like, you wanted to sell it for 46 billion. Let's say 46 billion. Then probably people are going to question why you're selling it for 46 billion when all of the trades have been between 41 and 43. You know, like right now, all the trades right now for a green are somewhere between 40 and 43 billion. So if you were to say 46, then they're probably still not going to roast you, but that's going to be questionable. That's really dope. Hyped to be part of this community. As a nerd that works in spreadsheet all day, I see the addiction coming. Hey, dude, honestly, if you want to help us out with some spreadsheet stuff, or you want to contribute to the spreadsheet work, Awesome. We would love that. Love that. That help with that, or just to add your stuff to it. But how do you know they were? Oh, yeah, I read that one. Yeah, that's legit scamming. But what I mean is, if you say a price, let's say the Aussiest pet, you post the buy is 1 billion, so everybody inputs the offer for 1 billion, but one decides guys to put 1050 instead. How do you know then? That's one of those things where I don't want to. So kind of like I mentioned, I just want to say a couple of the things of how we catch that. I don't want to go through everything because I don't want people to be able to actively circumvent the things that keep those members safe. If I was to sit here and list you off 10 different ways of how we catch people doing certain things, then it's not going to be very effective because people will be able to work around them then, or try to work around them. It's much more effective if they have no idea how they got caught. You know what I mean? So it's, it's kind of like when Jagex used to say that, we're not going to tell you how we know that you're botting. We're not going to tell you how we know that you're real world trading or whatever. That's because there are people that are very intelligent, that are able to then use the things they learn to circumvent those systems in order to be able to have a better chance of succeeding in doing their shady shit. So, but what I can say, and this is the honest truth, this is like 100% honest truth, is that in our Discord groups, it is quite rare for someone to be actively cutting prices and doing things that are against our rules on a regular basis. Usually when that happens, it's because it's someone who is newer and did not read all the guidelines. And then it's also usually painfully obvious of that because they don't try to hide it. They just like post things that don't make any sense. And then so we just kindly guide them to the rules of the server, and that way they can review it and then just, they then know how to do it. They then know how to act. It is very, very rare for someone to just be actively doing that all the time. And the number of people that do that in a monthly basis, I can very easily count on one hand. And once again, they are usually caught pretty quickly. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it is not a common thing. And that's another reason for that. And this is the last thing I'll say on this, because I want this to be about flipping and not entirely about our Discord server. But the last thing I'll say on it is that if someone is caught breaking actively breaking the rules with intent, then that person can be banned from our server, and that person can be completely banned from my Patreon page. And that is a freedom and a thing that I am able to do. So most people do not want to pay $30, $60, whatever it is, and then just to be banned, because they're not getting their money back. And that's not something somebody wants, and that's not something I want to do to someone. So for those reasons, people will usually, when they pay the money, then they tend to be very good, like they tend to try their best to do teamwork and get the most out of it because they're paying for that. It's that kind of concept. If everything was free, then people would not really care too much about risking getting caught. So I'll just keep in mind that it's safe and everybody has the same price. Yeah, in general, that is what happens. I also flip the items with the people too, and I can, if things slow down or whatever, then we just update the prices. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on here too. Now feel free to ask questions, guys. Feel free to any comments, any questions, whatever you have. Right before I jump back into this flipping again too, I'm gonna go ahead and do some more prices for you guys. I do just want to mention that I did just talk a crap load about our Discord and our Patreon sections, mostly just like answering questions about it. But if you are interested in trying out the Patreon tier, you can go to our Patreon page, and then you can go to Flip Mastery, and then you can click where it says free trial, and you guys can just go and try a free trial right now. There's no payment required. You guys can just go ahead and hop in and start flipping and get prices handed to you. You don't have to, you can slap the easy button and start making a bunch of money right now if you want to, and see if you like it. It's a free trial. Okay, it's better to sit and listen than lose out on $5 billion a month. Yeah, exactly, because once you get banned because of doing that type of thing, you're gone forever. There is no like, oh, I've learned my lesson. No, you're gone. Saint Dutch. Okay, so what to do when an item is not buying for that lowest price? So what you would do at that point, if let's say that let's say you just did a price check, okay? You just did a price check on these full helms, and then you were doing 1680, and it's not buying for 1680. Then you're just going to update your price after you've waited a certain amount of time. Now, all of our Patreon tiers have spreadsheets that show you the update wait time and then the update amount. If you don't have access to that information, totally fine. You're just going to have to do trial and error and figure it out on your own. It took me hundreds of hours in order to put those spreadsheets together accurately. And that's kind of what you're saving yourself. You're saving yourself hundreds of hours, and you're also getting the ease of having a whole bunch of prices handed to you when you're in the Discord. You can do all that on your own. It's totally fine. But it will be trial and error and learning how to update and how often you update. Kranois says, I thought I had to put my card info for that. You do have to have a Patreon account, and then you do have to have the verified information on Patreon. So whatever they require for you to do to sign up for that, that is under their control. It's not my decision. And they do require you to have a card or something on your account, which is another way that they verify you are who you are. Retro Onage, if anyone does cut, theirs offline price just gets changed. While their offline price just gets changed further down again, and now you could be with everyone else selling or buying. Now you're screwed until you get back online and realize how you've been cut. I don't know my thoughts if that makes sense. Wait, if anyone does cut while they're offline, price does get changed further down again. Now you could have been with everyone else selling or buying. Now you're screwed. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. So basically, you're paying too much, for example, because you're trying to cut the prices, and now you end up way higher than everyone else, and now the item shifted, and everyone else bought it for a much better price, and you just kind of screwed yourself. Yeah, that's a great scenario of why you don't want to do that. I've been running the Discord server for 8+ years, guys. I can tell you that at this point, we have had tens of thousands of members. And yeah, if I was in the business of not making you money, then I'm just going to give you information that doesn't make any sense and is going to lead you to not making money. But I would say that at this point, you can be pretty confident that what I'm posting in there and what the staff is posting in there as far as prices and everything else, we're trying to make you money. That's the goal. Awesome, Philip just got the trial, dude. Badass, dude, badass. All right, let's go and do some more items though. And thank you for the patience of some people who don't want to hear about some of the things we just talked about. I totally understand that. I know that usually whenever we start talking about, I don't know, any of the things we just talked about, there are some people who just don't want to hear about that. They're just like, whatever, get on with the flipping. So I appreciate your patience. we are gonna get on to some more flipping. Let's do some potions, because a lot of these potions can be some pretty good ones. Let's go ahead and find out and see what potions we can get. Like what potions have some good margins. Also, too, after our stream today for RS3 for doing the flipping, I am going to be doing a stream for Throne and Liberty. Because I honestly just like really love the game right now. So if anybody wants to join for that stream, we're going to be doing it right after this. And if you've never played before, you can feel free to come play. I'll even come play with you in the game. Because, yeah, I'm not going to get super into it, but basically there are like collection things you do at lower level areas. So I will happily come join you. Alright, super attack pot. Super attack 3. I'm just gonna do some various potions. Actually, I'm gonna do super renewal 4, not the 3 for renewals, because most people do buy the 4s. You also, with the boosts, when you're making these, end up making a lot of 4s also. So the 4s for these are a little bit more common than some of the other potions tend to be. But you can do 3s, you can do 4s, whatever you want to do. The 4s will usually will have a little bit better margin, but that's also because, what? Oh, how did that happen? How did that even happen? I was doing it too fast. The 4s will tend to have a bigger margin, but they have lower volumes. They're slower. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do the 4s instead of the 3s. Okay, so super strength, not too bad. 61 margin. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty bad. I would probably recommend that you do like stretch these a bit, because this is not a very good margin. That's actually a bad margin. Super defense though, we got about 300, which not too bad. It could be better. It's not bad. Super attack is pretty low. I would definitely try stretching those too. I wouldn't do this price. I would definitely try stretching those if I was going to do those. We have about an 800 margin on prayer renewal, which that's not too bad. So that's a consideration. And then these super magic potions are actually really good. That is a 1.2k margin on super magic potion, which is definitely good. We want to be at something close to 1,000. So these two are pretty good. And then these are honestly all three not that great. The super defense is the only one that's even like slightly usable out of that. So I'm going to post the super defense. And for anyone who has not been in the stream the entire time, which I'm sure there's plenty of you, in our Discord server, I am posting these in the RuneScape 3 flipping chats. It's a free open section for you guys to use, for anyone to go flip. So these, everything that we're doing on the stream today that is good, I am posting in there. I'm not posting the bad ones because it's pointless. There's no reason to post the bad ones. But what you can learn from the bad ones on here, though, even though I'm not posting them, is that, I guess we can do the super attack in there too, is that you're able to stretch these. St. Dutch, gonna sleep, talk to you later. Thanks for all the info. Greets to the Netherlands. Hey, awesome, man. You have a good night. My wife is actually from the Netherlands, so that's really great, dude. Have a good night. Let me just catch up on the chat here. I don't like to leave anybody without their stuff answered. Okay, so I tried the Frost Dragon bow with Tyrian Purple, and it's gonna buy slow, but it's a good start, right? Yeah, no, it is a good start. Sometimes these items do buy slow, and then sometimes they just come in all at once because somebody just like, let's say they just spent like 5 hours killing Frost Dragons. They will go dump all the bones at once. So you will tend to get your Frost Dragons, for example, in big clumps of like, you know, like you'll get like a few hundred or a few thousand like coming into the Grand Exchange at once. So sometimes they'll be really, really slow, and then all of a sudden the entire offer will fill. That's very common. So yeah, they are a bit slower though. Same thing with the Tyrian Purple and stuff like that too, because you got to think that the way that most of the Tyrian Purples, the way that most of the archaeology stuff comes in the game is because people will go to their storage, they'll withdraw all the ones they want to sell, and then they'll just dump them into the Grand Exchange. That's how they mostly come in the game, so they don't usually come in like, someone's not usually selling 3 or 4 or 5 of them at once. That's not typically how they enter the Grand Exchange. So when it comes to items like the Dragon Bones and those, just kind of like be patient, and honestly your offer will probably just like fill all at once or have a pretty significant amount coming in. I made some joke maybe a year ago about how selling secrets to making money IRL or a game like RuneScape always start with an iPhone and a burgundy interior car, and now you've made me billions. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. No, I mean, you're 100% right though. Like I will agree with you that it's always like, you know, it's always an iPhone, and they're sitting in front of a window in like a very average looking house with like a plain wallpaper background talking about how they're making 100K per month and just sign up for my course and blah 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 blah. Nah, dude, no, like that those people are a joke, 100% a joke. But that's because, I mean, obviously, like this isn't like real money, obviously, right? You know, this is like pixels. But the difference between like the people that do that kind of thing and the people that like what we're doing here is that we're like actually doing it, and I'm showing it. And we also have free sections to go do it yourself, you know? All of those people, like all those people that are like the fake guru kind of people, they will never show you real numbers. Like they will never show you their real numbers. And then they will also never give you free access to like actually you seeing progress to any of those things. It's funny. It's funny. Hey man, what's going on, Jeremy? Gonna sleep. Oh, I already read that one. See, this is why when I jump around I get a little lost. I'm going to go. Thank you for the video. Awesome, dude. Hey, thank you for joining in. I was also thinking of Hell Metal and Blood of Orcus because demand will be a good idea or no. Let's find out. Let's find out. Like I said, suggestions are totally fine, and Hell Metal is a good one. Hellmetal and Blood of Orcus are usually pretty good because of the new Daemonheim area. Because people really like to sit there and farm. I'm pretty sure that those are both used for the Dungeoneering token collections. I think they both require those, I'm pretty sure. I know that it's in that area. And I'm pretty sure that's what... I don't like to say things I'm not 100% sure on. But I am pretty positive that these are both used for that Dungeoneering collection. Okay, so boom. Okay, yeah, they are good. Good eye, good thoughts. So yeah, we've got 641 for Hellmetal, which is definitely good because you got 5,000 limit. That's making over 3 million on that. And then we've got Blood of Orcus 13771. That's a 700 margin on those. That's not bad at all. 3.5 million. Obviously reduced by the taxes, but I'm not going to sit here and try to calculate taxes in my head. 2%. It's not really something I want to do. Boom, there we go. Yeah, well, hey, you made a good suggestion, though, Soulfire. Let's see, how would I start flipping with 400 million, and how much can I make in a month? So, both of those questions are very, very difficult to answer without being a little bit more specific. But what my suggestion for flipping would be to either start working through it on your own by using prices like I'm showing you right here, which are being posted in the Discord server. You can start working through it on your own and like just price checking like we're doing, and then just flipping. And we have a lot of like free learning stuff too. The Discord server is also has some things like in our flipping school. You can go and learn the most basic things like price checking, item volume, overnight flipping, and then I've got some more things that was going to be coming out in that pretty soon too. And then we have a ton of videos on the YouTube. I mean, you could sit there and watch it for days probably, and then you'll still have more to watch. So there's lots of ways for you to learn on your own. The other option would be to try the free trial for our Patreon, or just straight up sign up for the Patreon. And then if you do that, then you're able to join our Patreon tiers inside the Discord server, which we have prices posted for you every single day that you can literally just plug and play and go. So that is kind of like, hey, I want to save myself a ton of time and just go ahead and jump on in. There you go. So you got both those options. I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with learning and doing on your own. There's obviously we got about 13,000 people in the Discord server itself, and just a bit over 1,000 of them are Patreon members. So that means that we have less than 10% of the total number of members in our Discord server are a Patreon member. So obviously, doing it on your own is a very popular way to go, and we definitely will try to help you out as much as you can too. Anyone can open up a help ticket in the Discord server and ask any kind of questions you want to. You don't have to be a Patreon member. You can just be in any. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you just join today. You can just ask some questions and we'll help you out. My suggestion for anyone that does want to open a help ticket, by the way, is just have some questions. And try to be as specific as possible. Don't just open a help ticket and be like, "Hi, how do I flip?" Because it's way too vague. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you just want to know how to flip, then go watch some videos on my YouTube channel, look around the Discord server, and then that way you can. Grim says, "Hi, how do I flip?" Get the fuck out of here. But start the process of learning, and then generate some questions based on what you're stuck on, and then ask those questions, because that way we can give you the specific answers. And also too, like let's say you're making 100 million a day right now and you want to learn how to make 500 million a day. Okay, we can do that. But what we'll need you to do is like tell us what you're currently doing. Like, how much are you playing? How many accounts do you have? Like, what items are working? What's not really working? Which aspects do you think you can improve on? Give us a lot of detail. That way we can really give you that feedback much more effectively. And, you'll get... Basically, it lets us know what you really need to know, and we'll get you the answers that you really want. So, yeah, definitely don't say, "Hi, how do I flip?" I just signed up to the Patreon, the beginner course. Nice, dude. Did you grab the free trial? So the new treasure hunter just dropped. What do you do with when tokens like this drop like fresh in game? Let me see if it'll let me see this without me having to relog. Nope. Is it one of the things where you're getting tokens? I don't know what the current treasure hunter thing is now because I'd have to relog to see it, but is it the tokens, like are you gaining tokens by doing things, then you can use the tokens to open the shop to buy things? Is that what it is? Is it one of those things? Or is it cosmetic tokens that are just released in the treasure hunter? Yeah, I can lobby, but when I lobby, it's going to make me redo all my passwords and stuff, and then I'm going to have to do this. Boop. Okay, one sec. I'll lobby and I'll see. Like, yeah, you're right. That's definitely going to be the easiest way. Just give me one sec. I can't get the Patreon free week because I don't own a credit card. RIP me. Yeah, they. So, the main reason why they require a credit card is because for verification purposes. Like, you can't, like, input your ID, obviously. So that is the best way to verify you are you. Alright, give me one sec. Let me make sure it's not asking me for my, my firstborn and my social security number. Alright, boop. We're back. Okay. Dungeon Delve. So let's click this. Will it let me? No. Okay, thanks. Dungeon Delve. Complete dungeons earns tokens which can be exchanged and unlock new necromancy ability overrides. I like it. I like it. Ooh. It's kind of cool. Basic. Oh, wait. They have new ones for all of the abilities? Ah, great. There goes all my money. Oh, I like the ice one. I like how it like comes up. I think this kind of looks a little dumb. It looks like a dead tree. Kind of cool though. Oh, the flaming skulls are pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet too. These both look really cool actually. Okay, so summoning the dungeoneering guy. All right. Frozen dungeon, warp dungeon. Okay, so yeah, actually here. Let me read this now that I can actually read it. Wait, navigate your way through, but no, I don't want to go out of this. Okay, yeah, good. No! God damn it. I just wanted to read about how the rewards are set up. No, stop taking me out for a transaction. Hang on a second. I'll come back in here. The tradable scrolls, those cost 3 tokens. You get them for yourself for 1 token each. Okay, yeah. So it is one of those things where you get currency and then you can spend the currency to get the rewards. Okay. And then tradable, right? So if we go in here, let's see if they're in here. Well, I would assume they're in here. Living. Okay, yeah. So we have a frozen living death and warp living death. Okay. Living death. We'll just, I don't know. We can see if any of these buy. I really doubt it though, because they're probably not in the game, but you never know. Okay, so what is your question about this? So the new treasure hunter just drops. What do you do when tokens like this drop like fresh in game? Like I guess what is your question regarding them? No free trial. I bought the Elder Plate Body. No free trial. I bought the Elder Plate Body when you price check and I made good money off it. So it's proof in the pudding. Oh yeah, there you go. Makes sense. Yeah, no. I mean, this is what we do. We price check items and post them for you. So as a new member in the Patreon, something else I would oh, you're good, Soulfire, you're good. So something I would recommend is open up the spreadsheet like immediately. So whatever tier you got, I'm not sure which tier you got. I think you've got, oh, the beginner one. Okay, so you've got Flip Mastery. So if you have Flip Mastery, open up the spreadsheet, and then in the spreadsheet, it's going to have a list of all the items, the average margin pre-tax, the update time, the update amounts, and whatnot. So let's say that you are posting here. Let me open up our Discord server really quick and let me see like one of the most recent things that we have for Flip Mastery prices. Okay, so we just had some prices not too long ago, some fresh prices. So I'm going to go ahead and mention one of these. So we've got a main hand glaive. So main hand glaive, it says 9.9 million to 12.4 million. So that number right there probably does work just fine because it's a very fresh number. Now, if you were to put 9.9 million in there and it does not buy, let's say that you wait for the time. So if I open up our spreadsheet, so I'm going to go to Flip Mastery Chat. I'm going to go ahead and open up our spreadsheet. Give me 1 second. And then I go on our spreadsheet and I go to offhand glaive. Wait, did I say main hand or did I say offhand glaive? I said main hand glaive. Okay, so we look for main hand shadow glaive. It shows that the average margin for the main hand shadow glaive is 1 to 3 million. And then your wait time to update is going to be 45 plus minutes. And then your amount to update by is going to be 100K. And also feel free for anybody who just wants to write this down, go ahead. This is actually one of our things that we use for the Patreon spreadsheet. So we've got a 1 to 3 million margin, 45-minute update time, and 100K to update by. So what you would do is you would want to wait for about 45 plus minutes at that price. And if it does not buy at that price, then you want to update it by the update amount, which is going to be 100,000 gold. So what you would do is you chill there at 9.9. 45 minutes later, if it hasn't bought, I'm not saying it won't, but if it has not bought, then you bump it up by 100K, wait another 45 minutes. Now, most of the time, you will buy it the first time around and not have to update it. And then usually if you have to update it, it'll buy after you update it once. So that is generally how that will go. So that is how you use like the plug and play numbers of the things we have posted. Is that something that we cannot control, no one can control, is items will shift in price. So we can post the most accurate things that work at the moment, but if there is any price shifts, that is when you're going to want to refer to the spreadsheet because it will tell you basically how to handle those price shifts so you're not sitting there and waiting for something to sell. You don't want to like put a buy offer for a Shadow Glaive at 9.9, leave it for 5 hours and be like, it's not selling, or sorry, it's not buying, what's going on? Like, I'm not saying that you would do that, I'm just using it as an example. You don't want to be in that kind of scenario. You want to have your items updating. Okay, and then so also too, just one last thing for the spreadsheet stuff. We have an active flip risk and we have an overnight flip risk. So basically what that means is active flipping means that you're flipping it right now. You're at the PC, you're paying attention. I mean, okay, yeah, you walk away for a couple times, it's whatever, but like you're actively doing it. That is the risk involved in that item. So if you want to stick to more like safe items, then go for the ones that have a low active flip risk. And then for overnight flipping, if you want to do some overnight flipping, you can also look for that and see, you know, if it's like, okay, hey, I want to learn how to overnight flip, or I want to start overnight flipping, or I just want to like really, you know, fine tune my overnight flipping, then I would recommend starting with the ones that have low for overnight flip risk also. And if you have any more questions though, feel free to ask, but that's basically how the prices in the chat and the spreadsheet are used to apply to those prices in the chat. How would you go into flipping these kinds of items? Like, would you buy one, then try to flip around this price? Oh, I see. So for you talking about for the for these ability scrolls. So usually what happens is they're going to be super hyped up when they first come out. And then they will typically either kind of stay around the same or start dropping because more people are getting them. And then towards the end of the treasure hunter event, they're going to jump up again. That is usually what happens. So you just want to kind of follow that path. So it's like buying them right when they first come out is a little risky. And I would be trying to flip them as quickly as I could. Like you definitely want to get rid of them. But you definitely want to aim for some high margins. Now, I doubt this is the real price for these two items, like the Warped and Frozen Living Death. I mean, the event's only been out for 25 minutes, so I highly doubt the price is this low on these two, if there is even any in here. So you'd have to like find out what the prices are. We do usually post them in the Master Pass Lounge. That's usually where brand new items go. and then they will typically be moved from there. But if you don't have the group to work with, you can just do some trial and error, just try to figure out on your own. Although I would just be cautious though, because it's very, very, very easy to lose money. It's extremely high risk, these types of things. This is basically if you want to gamble, because this is not like smart investing or like savvy flipping or whatever. This is gambling. Just to be clear, there is a clear difference. NM says, when this man says instant buy, instant sell, and just -1, he's actually teaching you how to lose money because you will get dumped on by all the other people doing the same thing. Would you mind explaining how you will get dumped on by them doing the same thing? You might, yeah, I guess, would you mind explaining how you are going to get dumped on using that logic? And who is dumping on you? That doesn't make any sense. Ray, yeah, that's what I usually do with these items, but now it's a bit different because there's a lot of new ones for Necromancy, which is most used style. Yeah, no, I bet you that these abilities are going to be pretty expensive starting out. Like, I would expect some of these abilities to be several hundred million. I would not be surprised at all. Especially when the current bond price, we're sitting at like, what? Yeah, like 134 million still? Which, by the way, who was the one that told you guys that bonds were going to go down when they were like 140, 150? This guy. Oh man, I got so much shit. I got so much shit from people telling me that I was stupid because I thought bonds were going to go down after Jagex announced the price increase. And I'm like, that's not how that works, guys. Basic economics. But yeah. Man, some people got so salty about that. They were so mad in the comments. This one guy was like, it's not that hard. I'm like, apparently it is if you got it wrong. I mean, I'm not the rub it in your face kind of person, but I'm just talking about the people that were like shitting on me for it. Like, gosh, that was satisfying when I just watched the prices go down. Ray says, "Ha, I was thinking about buying but saw your video but didn't." Good man, good man. There were big content creators, like the biggest content creators in RS3 were telling people the opposite of what I was telling people. Which is why a lot of them were coming over to my stuff and shitting on me for having a different view. But the thing is, though, is that I was using actual evidence and historical data to be able to explain my position. And then the other ones, and I'm not saying anything negative about those people. I'm not saying anything negative about those people, although that they probably should have done a little bit more brainstorming on that before they decided to put that on their platform. Is not the best thing to do, but I don't blame them. But yeah, they looked at a very face value, and you can't look at a face value. You have to look at the trends for it. Basically, the reasoning why is because prior to the initial bond spike, bonds were increasing only at a certain rate. It was like a natural inflation of bond price, if you will. So when that is like basically going... When you got like a natural amount, I'm trying to aim this in the camera, you have like a natural incline, right? And then let's say at this point right here on our graph, it just suddenly shoots way up. And then the natural incline would have been right here. Well, this price of shooting up because of hype and lots of other reasons that were going on at the time, when those reasons are gone, it's going to come back down. And then it's basically going to be matching, or probably pretty close to matching, where the other line went. Now, obviously, it's not guaranteed to go back down to where the natural curve is. That's obvious, because the bonds are not... It's not like gasoline or whatever. Like, there's a certain amount of these, and this is affected by different conditions and different reasonings as to how many come in the game and all that kind of shit. Like, so I'm not saying that it's going to go down and match the exact curve. I'm not saying that bonds are going to be 85 million tomorrow. But I hope you understand what I mean. It's just basically that prices were already hyped up to a crazy, ridiculous hype number, so bond price changing doesn't have that big of an effect on making it rise further. And also, too, anybody who was buying bonds when the price increase was announced, if people bought a bunch of bonds, which I know people did, afterwards... they would just be trying to make money on those bonds because they were anticipating them rising. Now, if anyone has been playing RuneScape for a while, you probably know what happens to a bag holder. You end up a bag holder. You're trying to sell to other people who are trying to sell. It becomes a buyer's market. Alright, so Grim Riches. When flipping high volume items, I frequently have to update the price because someone offers 1 to 100 GP more or less. Oh, 100%, my friend. 100%. That is totally what happens. Which is why I don't personally like doing high volume too much. Often I'll put in an offer and go to bed, and in the morning I haven't bought anything because I got a price cut a few minutes after logging off. Definitely can happen. How do you deal with this problem for things like Elder Room, where buying and selling are slow, and so watching for price updates doesn't make sense? So what I do personally is I will, why is this? Oh, I thought he was talking about me. He was talking about, trading on stream, come trade. Oh, it's probably a scammer. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Maybe he's not, but he's saying like live on stream, come trade me, come trade. Anyway, oh my goodness, I just got completely off my train of thought. Okay, so if I was to place a buy offer for Elder Rune, let's say I was going to do that. Actually, here, let's go look at one of these Elder Rune pieces, just so I have an example up on the table here. So, Elder Rune, Full Helm +5, 1680. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. This is literally what I do. Alright, so 1680 is our buy. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to have buy offer, 1680 mil. That is not the right number. Let's not buy it for 1.6 billion. I just did it again because I was saying it. Goodness, I need some more coffee or something, my friends. Okay. I'm going to place my offer right here. Oh, got some green tea right here. This will work out. Alright. So if I have my offer right here. 200 IQ flipping, offer 1,000 times buy price. Yeah, man, I'm gonna get these. These are gonna be buying now. Okay, so if I have this offer in, what's most likely going to happen? This is usually what happens. Is I will then just like log out of that account. So I don't usually put this on the account that I'm playing on. I actually pretty rarely flip on my main account. That's why if you look at my main account, it doesn't have anywhere near my full wealth on my main account. There's 183 billion on this account. My other accounts have more money than this account does. So this is generally the one I'm not flipping on. So I will have my offers placed, and then I will log out of the accounts that I am flipping on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to log back in 4 to 6 hours later, 8 hours later, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not usually like counting it down to the minute. And then I will log back in and I will see that, hey, I bought 25 of them out of my 100. And at that point, I will then bump up my price again. And so if I was offering 1680, then I will probably go up to like 1685. It depends on the item. It could be like, you know, it greatly varies depending on the item of how much I'm going to increase the price by. But let's just say for these, it's like 5,000. So I'll bump up my price by 5k, and then I'll just log it back out again. And usually what I'll probably do too is if I have the offer in here like this, so if I have 100 and then let's say 25 of them bought, I'm probably going to like bump my quantity back up. So now I'm buying like, you know, so that I have a couple, so that way I have a couple buy limits available. I'm not, if I'm logging out for 8 hours, that's 2 buy limits. It's 4 hours per limit. So that's 200 right here. I want my offer to be able to be capable of buying the amount that I've got in there. And then if I log back in and some of those have bought, I'll just make sure I now have however many buy limits that I will be logged out for. And then I'll just continue doing that until all of them are bought. Now, if I think that, hey, they're just slow, then I probably won't bump it up too much more, or I might not bump it up at all. I'll just be patient on it. But that is what I do. So I don't sit there and worry about people doing 1 GP over me, or 100 GP over me, or 1,000 GP over me, or 50,000 GP. I don't give a shit. I just ignore them, and I just look and see if over time I'm getting buys. Because if you are buying by... Something you guys have to keep in mind is, if you are buying at the absolute best price, then there's always going to be people buying more than you, right? because you are doing the biggest margin, the best price. That means that you have found the minimum amount, or hopefully as close to the minimum amount as you can, that you're able to buy the item for. Your goal is not to be paying more than other people. It is to just buy it for the lowest that it will buy over a period of time. So I don't really care if people go over me. That's fine. Fill up your 100 and then I'll be buying again. Thanks. Like, that's how it works. So, and then I will just do the exact same thing for the sale. Now the sale I will usually be a lot more stoic on. I am usually going to be just sitting there and chilling at my sale price until they sell. If I'm stacking up, you know, obviously this depends on your budget, but if I'm stacking up 5,000, you know, 10,000, whatever of these helmets, just because I'm waiting for them to finally sell, then I'll probably do that if I think they're going to sell for that price. Now, if I don't think they're going to sell for that price, that's a different story. I will then start updating. So I hope that helps. That has a lot to do with batch flipping also. If you watch my video that I posted, what did I name that video? Give me 1 second. I have a really, really good video for you that will explain everything. I'm actually not even exaggerating. This video that I'm going to show you will explain pretty much everything that you need to know, especially about the things you were asking, and especially about putting in offers for things that are inactive and whatnot. So there it is. It's actually the video, not the most recent video, but the one before it. It was in July. I've made like hardly any content for videos recently. I definitely need to make some more videos. We've just mostly been in the Discord and whatnot. So anyway, how to make 100 billion in RS3 step by step in depth. It is like, if you go on the channel and you look for one of the most recent videos, that has 21,000 views, right there. So that one, quite literally, I show you how to go from whatever I started with to 100 billion gold. And the thing is, though, is it's not just a whole bunch of hypotheticals. I'm literally explaining each step and what you do. Let's see. Is that why bonds go up and down all the place? Yeah. Yeah, there's many different factors that affect how bonds go up and down. Just an FYI, if anyone buys a Premier with bonds, they're on sale now and are still 20 bonds. Nice. How would you know you made a profit or loss? Are you talking about on the bonds, or are you talking about for like the example I was just talking about for the Elder Rune helms? Can't find the spreadsheet. Virtual. What is your name in Discord? I will tag you to where it is. But it's in the pinned messages in the RS3 flip chat. Or sorry, you're in Flip Mastery. It is in the pinned messages of Flip Mastery. FM chat. So FM chat, you go to pinned messages. I'm actually just going to post it in that chat. The chat section of that section is a little bit quiet today, but there's definitely prices posted and everything. I think people are just being really quiet today in that one. Huh. As you go up in the tiers, people are usually more talkative. We actually usually people will join Flip Mastery, and then they'll be in there for like, I don't know, 1 to 5 days, and then they'll just bump up the next tier. That's how it usually happens. Okay. Do you increase the price even if you've bought some? And how do you tell the difference between someone offering a better price and there just not being enough trade volume to fill your trade? If my items have bought, then I'm not too concerned about the trade volume being too low, because I was able to purchase them. So that means that I just might need to wait a little bit longer. Now, if I'm buying them too slowly, then either the item isn't really worth doing, or I am buying too low. So do you increase the price even if you bought some? I do usually increase the price if I did not fill a buy limit within the 4 hours. So if, like, for example, the Elder Rune Full Helm, if I did not buy 100 of them in 4 hours, then I will probably bump up the price a little bit, depending on how many I've bought, just because I'm probably offering a little bit too low. Like, it's obviously you want to be, like I mentioned before, you want to be at the spot where you are offering a price and getting them as cheap as you possibly can, but you also want them to be moving so you're able to make good money. How does average trade volume affect the number of an item you are trying to buy? Let's see, average trade volume. If an item has a daily volume of 300 and then a limit of 100, will you put in a buy for 1,000, not just expect it to fill for a few days? So that is going to, so it does definitely affect that for sure. The trade volume is 100% going to affect how many you're going to buy and what prices and everything else. The thing is, though, is at a lower volume, the items tend to be rather unique. Like, your experience flipping an Elder Rune Full Helm, for example, because an Elder Rune Full Helm +5 is actually a fairly low volume item. Your experience in flipping those versus flipping a Third Age Cloak is going to be vastly different, and they're going to act vastly different. So once you get down to lower volume items and not high volume items, then it's going to be a little bit more situational. So how I will handle that is going to depend on the item. But in general, I'm just going to mostly just be more patient than if it was high volume. That's like a good start. I do have an idea for bonds on why they go up and down. Please share, Dark Knight. On just flipping stuff in general. Oh, and how do you know you made profit? Well, you just know how much you bought. Like, if I bought this Frozen Living Death Cosmetic Ability Scroll, god, that's a long name, for 100 million, then I sell it for 150, then I know I made 150 minus taxes. Sorry, I made 50 minus taxes. I would not, and some people like to have like a spreadsheet open or something like that, and to sit there and to post, you know, okay, I made 1 million here, I made 3 million here, I made 1.5 million here. Like, that's fine. That's totally fine. If you enjoy doing that, then that's great. I personally don't do that. Usually what I will do, if I even actually want to keep track of how much I make, because I'm in a kind of a unique situation, right? Like, I have over 2 trillion wealth on RS3, so my situation is a little bit different than most players. So for me, I don't really care too much about how much I'm increasing. I just do it for the fun, and then also to like show other people how to do it. I'm past the point where I care about my personal wealth out of it. So what I would do, though, is if I wanted to be able to keep track of it and know how much I'm making, then what I would do is, let's say I have an account and I put 10 billion on that account, and then at the end of the week, do I have under 10 billion? Well, I lost money. Do I have 11 billion? Nice, I made 1 billion. I prefer to keep track of it that way, rather than sitting there and itemizing each thing out, because itemizing each thing out means I need to pay a lot more attention to what I'm doing on the game, as far as like I'm making a whole spreadsheet and stuff. And then I don't really get to be able to, you know, kind of multitask as easily. If like, you know, if I'm doing like IRL work while I'm flipping, it becomes very tedious to sit there and write down all these numbers. So I will usually just look at, you know, the end of the week or the end of the day or whatever. The time that I do that is when we have boss releases and we do an event in the Discord server. Then I will definitely be keeping track of how much I've made total. And I will just, once again, I'll start an account with, you know, 10 bill, 50 bill, whatever. And then how much do we have at the end of day one? And then I will just add those numbers up, and that's how much we made. So it's all personal preference on how you keep track of how much you made. But I do tend to go towards the route of just doing it a more casual way. Because I don't know, I have done it both ways. I've done it both ways. So and I say that it is definitely fun to sit there and make a spreadsheet type thing, but it is also very tedious to do. What is the big difference between the first 2 tiers of Patreon? So Flip Mastery, which is the one that has a free trial right now. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's a free trial. Go check it out. That is the very, very, very entry-level one. You will definitely still make some good money in there. There are people that make 500 mil, a billion, 1.5 billion. Like, it varies. You guys can look in the reviews and stuff also, too, that are in Discord that are from people, so you can see, like, how much people make. But it varies wildly depending on how many accounts you have and how much you're working with, and if you're new and if you're not new. So everyone's experience is going to be different, right? But the main difference is that tier 1 flip mastery is the like learner tier. So you can make some good money, but nothing crazy. I would be very surprised if someone made crazy money in flip mastery. Once you jump up to BFC, Billionaire Flip Club, that is where you are going to be making a lot more money, and that's where you have the potential to start making billions per month. Now, you could, in theory, make billions in flip mastery, but good God, that would be like so much work. It would just wouldn't really be. That would be so much flipping and so many accounts to make like billions plural. Anyway, so BFC is where you're able to open up and it becomes a little bit less of a learner tier. It's still learner friendly, but a little bit less of a learner tier. A little bit bigger items. Like in Flip Master, you're mostly going to have items that are like 1 million to 100 million. BFC, we start seeing things that are 300 million and above and whatever, and then also some other 50 mil, 100 mil, whatever. That's the main difference between the tiers. The profit's higher, a little bit more difficult, but a lot more ability to earn. And then Master Pass is the one where you should definitely know how to flip before you join Master Pass. I don't recommend someone who's brand new to flipping to join Master Pass. It's not a good thing to do. The items in Master Pass tend to have really big margins, but they also tend to require a little bit more skill. You can definitely do it. You know, if you've been flipping for a week or two, you can definitely jump into Master Pass and learn the ropes, but that is where you are able to start making significant money. But it is a little bit more difficult. There is a little bit more risk involved for losing some money on some flips. Now, just because you lost money on a flip or two doesn't mean you're not going to make money on the next 10. So it's, you know, losses are losses. They happen. I lose money like at least once or twice a day just by, you know, I don't know, just trying out super risky crap and it just doesn't pan out or whatever. So like, you know, losses or whatever. Do you have an overall margin goal every item you do, or does it vary? It just varies. So every item is going to have a different average margin. So I'm just going to aim to do the higher end of the average margin for each item. That's usually what I aim for, and that's usually what a lot of the more experienced people that are flipping in the Discord server will do, is they will try to get that bigger number, or they will try to go for a number that is above the high end of the average margin. They'll go for the high margin. So when they tell you about double XP, then a lot are buying because there is a lot of players needing them. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that buy bonds for double XP because they want to get money to be able to buy supplies. But once double XP is over, they do not need them anymore, so they panic sell them to the GE, which drops in price. Yeah, so kinda. Not really though. So, people will buy bonds before double XP in order to be able to, well, most of the time they buy keys, right? I'm sure most of the people in here that do spend on RuneScape have bought keys before double XP. So most of the people that are buying previous to double XP, like, you know, the announcement for the weekend or whatever, they're buying keys because that's going to give them the dummies and everything else. Then some will buy bonds because that will give them money to buy some skilling supplies or whatever. After double XP, the reason why the bonds are going down faster is because people are going to buy bonds again because they've blown all of their money. And so they buy bonds, sell the bonds, and buy gear. So you'll notice that almost every double XP, actually I haven't seen a double XP where this doesn't happen. So I like to say almost so that I'm not like, so that someone can't be like, oh my God, no, this one year. So almost every double XP, gear rises at the end of double XP. And that's because people want to get gear so they can go do some PVM, so they can make back all the money they lost by doing double XP. So they'll buy bonds and cash them out to get the money to buy the gear, which makes bonds in the game go down because there's more bonds in the game and the price goes down. Randy says, to me it doesn't matter as long as my digits always go up. Yeah, there you go. Money go brrr. Look at aggression push in 4. Can you explain if it is good or bad at the moment? Sure. All right, now when you say good or bad, you mean like just a good or bad margin? Or let me guess, it's like crazy, ridiculous high and you're wondering if it's gonna... Oh, no, it's not. These prices are... Okay, I was expecting it to be like some really high number and that's why you're asking. That's pretty good. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I would say it's good and it's also pretty safe because 64,921, that's probably, yeah, that's just barely below the market. And then it's 59.6. Now that's a really good item right now. That's really, really good. That's a good eye on that one. Normally, if, let's say the mid was this 59.6, and then this number right here was the number that it was like over mid, then that is when it's usually a little bit more of a red flag. Because at that point, this number could easily go back down. But since this is at mid and you're buying below mid, that is like the best spot to be in. The best spot to be in is when you're buying below and selling basically at mid. Whew, so good. That is correct. This is not OSRS. I do play OSRS though. We do OSRS content sometimes. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play OSRS lately though because, you know, it's much more active gaming, so I haven't had a lot of time to play it. My active gaming time has been going into Throne and Liberty when I get some time for it. Also, too, by the way, guys, if you're in the Discord, if you're in the stream and you've not joined our Discord, join our Discord. We got like 13k people, and you guys can just talk about this stuff with everyone in there. And there's a lot of good resources in there too. And also, if you have not followed the stream or subscribed to the channel, then for sure do that. That way, when we go live, then you guys can have notifications and whatnot. Let's see. Hi Manti, if I were to flip with high volume items, what margin percentage on the items would you be comfortable with approximately? So when we are referring to investing, then that is when we want to pay attention to ROI, like our percentage. So an ROI percentage, we want to pay attention to that when we're doing investing. We don't really care about that when we're doing flipping. The reason why is because different items are going to have different margins. It's not like it. This is one of the areas where RuneScape and real life vary a bit. So if I'm in real life, you know, there's a saying. It's called 30% is good business. There's a bunch of different percentage sayings in business actually, but 30% is good business. And or you look at restaurants, for example, and the cost of goods. Usually the cost of food is going to be 20 to 40%. 20% being really good, but 20 to 40% it's going to kind of fall around in there. Sometimes higher, very rarely lower. Maybe if you're doing Italian, you can somehow get it lower. But anyway, the reason why they have those sayings in business or they have those ranges in business is because in real life, we can kind of get a more averaged out percent. But in RuneScape, it tends to vary a little bit more because the item volume has a larger impact on the percentage you're going to be earning. So if I'm saying that I'm buying Aggression Potion 4 and I've got like, you know, it's a 60k item. If it's a 60k item and I take another 60k item, they may have completely different volumes. And if they have completely different volumes, that means the margin is going to be completely different. So for those reasons, I cannot aim for a ROI percentage on a flip. But I can do that on an investment because we're trying to find the best investments for a long-term thing because we only have an X amount of money to invest with. But if we're doing flipping, we're just trying to flip basically everything that's good, right? So it's going to vary. And I'm fully aware that you may have not wanted that in depth of an example, but I thought that was a pretty good opportunity to kind of explain why we don't go for the percentages on a flip as much. So it's not, so to answer your question also, it's not so much about what percent I'm comfortable with. I just want to make sure that it's going to be something that's like worth my time. And that is something that the individual will have to decide as well, because like, for example, flipping these right here for like 5k each, that definitely seems worth my time. Now, if I look down here And I'm like, this super attack potion, I'm only going to be making like 60 gold a piece. That doesn't really seem worth my time. It definitely would be still good money, but yeah, definitely not worth the time. So you just have to figure out, like, is it worth it? And also, too, how much are you investing to get that? If you're investing 1,000,000,000 gold to make 1,000,000, doesn't make any sense. That's not something I would do. Too much risk. Jeremy says, I just joined the Discord. This is great info. Awesome, dude. Awesome. For anyone who's joined the Discord, too, you can look in our RS3 flipping sections. Feel free to go ahead and post your, like, help each other out, work together, post in there. Talk about the different flips you're doing. And you guys can look in the flipping school too to learn like some of the basics. So like if there's something you want to like kind of refresh on or get like a more in-depth explanation on, flipping school has a few different sections in there where I talk about item volume, overnight flipping, price checking, why we do certain price checks and not other ones on certain items. There are a lot of people that will still instant by instant sell items like Nox Scythe. It's not a good idea. And I have a much more detailed description of what you should be doing for items like that in the price checking. Also, too, I just want to say, a lot of things are, a lot of things are things that are like, a lot of things are like suggestions. Not everything is like, you got to do it Manatee's way. They're all just suggestions. So like, be creative and stuff. The way, and also Chronoise, I didn't miss your message. I'm gonna get to you. I just haven't gotten down there yet. So the way that I created so many different flipping methods, because I created a lot of the flipping methods in RuneScape, whether you believe that or not, it's actually true. I've been flipping in RuneScape since basically RuneScape was released in Classic. So I worked with some of the most like well-known people that you can think of in the game. I've interacted with them at some point. And so we would like learn how to flip. Like when the Grand Exchange was released, we sat there and we're like just like mad scientists trying to find out the best methods. When RuneScape would do updates to the Grand Exchange, like for example, when there was an update around the time when Ganodermics were released, where they made it so that if you sold the item that you bought, so let's say I bought Aggression Potion 4s, and then I sold Aggression Potion 4s. For each one that I sold, it would reset my buy limit by that amount. So what I could do is I could basically put in a buy offer for, 1,000,000 Ganodermic Flakes, and then as they buy, immediately put them in for sale, and then that would refresh my buy limit, and I was able to buy infinite and flip infinite Ganodermic Flakes. I was making like 2 billion, like 2 billion an hour. That's not even an exaggeration. Like we were making like 2 billion an hour doing items during that update, which I think is a pretty big reason as to why they reversed that update. And obviously I wasn't flipping just Ganodermic Flakes, but they were very good at the time though. The margin on them was insane. So anyway, my point of what I'm saying though is that be creative, take my advice. I'd recommend it because I'm definitely trying to give you guys good advice, but take it and then find ways of getting creative with it and finding out your own strategies and making new strategies. Is it possible for you to tell me some good items to flip with if I have one build to flip with? Not the price and stuff, but just good items. I remember in a video it talked about explosive barrel. Yeah, there's a lot of items. What I would recommend is to just really hardcore stick to high price gear. Because high price gear is going to be the most consistent things you can do. So yeah, every piece of gear basically that you're able to afford, dive in on those with 1 billion. And then also, yeah, try things like explosive barrel, do things like these elder rune things, and mix those in. It's when you're flipping with like a bill and you're trying to make as much as possible, when you're active flipping, hit those gear pieces like weapons, gear, armor, whatever. Do those as your active flips. And then when you are doing inactive flips, like let's say you're leaving the computer for 3 hours or you're going to bed, do items like these elder rune things or whatever while you're not playing, because the money you make while you're not playing is almost or is more important than the money you're making while you're playing. Because if I'm able to make 100 million per night let's say that you've gotten pretty good at overnight flipping. You're making 100 million per night. That is 3 billion per month, which is 36 billion per year. So basically, you could be making 36 billion per year extra, which is a party hat. That's like almost a party hat now, I guess. But that's almost a party hat, literally just because you do overnight flips. So don't skip on them. That is something you definitely want to make sure you don't skip on. I'm on mobile, so I'm making a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet. You did talk to text, didn't you? To keep up and just following up on items in GE. Nice, dude. Nice. So the Frostbones bought in the price that was bought for the first time to see how much is being sold, and it dropped 1.3k. So how do I handle that? So you can either sell them for basically what you have found now, or just put them for a bit higher than that, closer to what you wanted to sell them for, and then just be patient. Because you gotta remember that I just told these Frost Dragon Bones to, I think at the time when I did that, we had like just over 60 people in here. So that many people saw Frost Dragon Bones. So some of them are flipping it. When they stop, like when theirs are gone or they change their price or whatever, the price will bounce back up. So if there is any of you in the chat that is trying to sell your Frost Dragon Bones for under this number, just know that the Frost Dragon Bones will rebound and you will miss out on money. That's the reason why you don't want to aggressively drop your numbers. Just be patient. I'm telling you, patience wins. Look, if you want to be unlike everyone else, like you want to reach goals that are unlike the people around you, then you have to do things unlike the people around you. So that's why it's like, oh, if somebody else would panic, be patient. That is literally how you get past the majority of people. So when you see the Agropop buy for 64,921, what would you have put your sell offer for in for like? I would probably do like 64,919. I'd lerp. Thank you for the follow, dude. Like, how much would you try to undercut, if any? Like a couple GP. Like, it's always a couple GP. Roger that. Thank you for sure, dude. What about if you have 150 million? In old school RuneScape? Oh yeah, hell, dude. I love talking about old school RuneScape. Let me get to your thing here 1 second. Right now, what I'm doing is I do big flips like gear, and the rest of my pouch I do small flips like under 100k an item. Yeah, you can do that, or you can just completely skip the small flips if you want to. Also, you can just you can do your big flips on gear, and then you could just put in your inactive offers early, and then just get those going. And that probably pays out more than the small flips do, and is also a little bit less work. But it's really up to you, though. So if you have 150 million old school RuneScape, it's the exact same concept, actually, as if you had that money into RS3. You just want to focus on the gear pieces. And there is like a more specific list of things I can give you. I don't want to really go down it super long in this video, but if you have seen my channel, I do streams for old school RuneScape. If you want to, let me see where that was at. 1 second. For old school RuneScape, we just had a great one sometime in the recent future, or sorry, recent future, sometime in the recent past, where we did a stream for old school RuneScape, which was basically the same as this one, but for old school RuneScape, where I was explaining a lot of things for that. Let me see. Huh, where did that video go? Oh, there it is. There it is. How to flip for billions OSRS live. Get shareable link. There you go. I just posted that in oh shoot. That actually went to oh, never mind. It also shared it onto YouTube. Nice. That is the video that was a live stream for old school RuneScape. So in your situation where you're at, that would be probably that would be where I would start, is to do that. I love flipping old school RuneScape. I think it's a blast. Rune darts and rune unfinished is a good thing. Is a good thing to make as well during or before double XP. Nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because a lot of people buy up the dart tips and everything. You can also sell those to people in bulk and not do the grand exchange. You'll get more money too. And for sure, John. Like I said, I love OSRS too. I have quite a bit of money on OSRS as well. It's all from flipping. I don't even have the stats to boss on old school RuneScape right now. It's like 100% from flipping. I've been flipping on OSRS since 2013. I just mostly focus my content on RS3, but I definitely still play a lot of old school for flips. I make about 2 to 3 billion on alts, but I spend a day on alts, but I spend a lot of time on. That makes sense, yeah. I mean, it does. It takes a lot of time. I mean, no matter who you are, if you're making a good amount of money per day, it takes a lot of time. I have to admit something, I don't flip anymore. Saying that, I have made enough this year alone to buy 37 bonds, full first necrogear and clean weapons, supplies for a number of projects, Nox Scythe. I don't boss. Nice. I know flipping is another way of making income. The more income streams you have, the more you make. What I would highly recommend, Randy, is to watch that video that I talked about. Is like not the most recent video, but the one right before it, where I talked about how to get to 100 billion gold. You should watch that video, because the strategies I'm talking about in that video are like literally the same ones that I often use, where I'm not spending my time actively flipping. Actually, that video has little to nothing to do with active flipping. It's about making your money grow in the background. So it doesn't, you know, like if you don't want to sit there and actively flip, then that is the video for you. Well, it's been really fun, guys. This has been a pretty fantastic stream. Honestly, it's actually a good thing when we are talking and having like such a good conversation with everyone. We have so much interaction in the chat that we end up like hardly doing price checks. That's how you know that it was a good stream, because you know, people are learning things, people are asking things. It's great. It also gave me a chance to like sharpen the tools, I guess you can say, because like, you know, I've been having like so much work to do in IRL and family stuff and everything else. I also faced some burnout too for RuneScape. Like there was a point like in the past few weeks that I like would log in and be like, I feel like it's almost painful to log in. Like my body doesn't want to be there. You know, I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but oh man, I just couldn't do it. I could still go talk in Discord and do prices or whatever, but like I couldn't play the game. I don't know. I mean, that's gone now. I took a good break from actively playing. It's now I'm actually in the mood to actively play too, but it is fun to come back in here and talk to you guys and kind of like sharpen back up. So thank you so much for the really good questions. I definitely really appreciate those, and I hope you guys have the best of luck trying to hit your goals. That is the goal here. Randy says, yeah, I know there are a number of ways to make passive income. Yeah. I'm just saying that if you do want to avoid sorry, if you do want to avoid actively flipping, then that video is a really good one, because it's not about active flipping at all. It's the strategies that I myself implement and everything, because obviously besides being a content creator, I've also got a bunch of other work and everything else, and also want to have some free time. So active flipping is not always the best thing for me to like fit in. So, but I definitely still want to make progress. I definitely wanted to make progress before too. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off now, and I am going to be popping back on. I'm gonna take a really short break, and then I'm gonna be popping back on to play some Throne and Liberty. So if you guys would like to join in for that stream, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing it on Twitch. So I'm probably not gonna be doing it on YouTube. I'm probably not gonna put it on YouTube because it just doesn't make much sense. Like, well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I put it on the YouTube too? Because I totally don't mind if people ask me RuneScape related questions while I'm playing a different game. It doesn't bother me at all. Forget it. We'll do that. We'll have it on both. Anyway, I'm going to start that up here shortly after I take a quick break. So you guys can feel free to come in and, you know, check out that game or ask me stuff about RuneScape, whatever you want to do. Totally fine. What's my Twitch link? The Twitch link is actually in the description of the YouTube. You can also too, if you go into Discord server, like our Discord server, and you go to videos and streams where it popped up, the Twitch pop-up is also in there too, so you can just click on that and then just go and follow in the Twitch, and you'll see when it goes live. It'll be shortly here. I'm just gonna take a short break. I need to go and get something to drink besides this green tea, even though it's pretty good. All right, have a good one, Ray. Have a good one, dude. How do you find what things to flip, especially since it's always changing? So the way I find things to flip, I'll go ahead and answer this question too before we head out. And also, Randy, music is a problem on YouTube, but we're just going to use game sounds. The game sounds for Throne and Liberty are fantastic. The game sounds for RuneScape, not so fantastic in most places. But for Throne, we're just going to go ahead and play the game sounds. How do you find what things to flip, especially since it's always changing? So it's not actually always changing. There are days where some items are worse than other ones. Then there's days when those same things are better than other ones. But in general, though, there is like there are lists of items that are fantastic to flip. Even when the margin tends to be a little bit lower on them, sometimes you can usually just kind of like chill and wait, and it'll come back. So the way that I find the margins that I want to flip myself is I will just price check, and this is the reason why I said that it's going to be a little bit different for me. We have our Discord server, and there are thousands of people in there, so there's prices all over the place. And so typically I'll just go find the ones I want to flip, and then I will just pick items that look good, and I'll flip those items. When those are done, maybe I'll go to some other ones that don't look quite as good, and then throw those in. But if you are doing this without that kind of infrastructure, then I would just recommend still joining our Discord server and then go into the free sections or grab a free trial for Flip Mastery, and then just use the items you see in there, because there's lots of great examples in there. Hey Ryan, hey man, thank you. Everything is doing pretty well. A little bit less stress lately, which has been fantastic. It's been a very stressful few weeks. I don't really want to get into it too much, but a lot going on. But alright guys, thank you so much for joining for the stream. Like I said, I am going to be coming back on live very shortly. So if you'd like to chill, hang out, check out some Throne and Liberty, you can even play with me if you want to. Sounds good. I'll meet you guys in the game. We can go kill some bosses, or if you're a lower level, we can go farm some newbie mobs. I don't really care what we do, it's fun. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that for RuneScape or whatever, we can totally talk RuneScape while I'm playing Throne and Liberty. It doesn't matter to me at all. So feel free to come in there and chat, and we can just talk more about flipping or whatever you want.